escape me, I'll chase you to the ends of the earth!
The ends of the earth! That was redonkulous and absolutely batshit nuts. Like, what just happened with Spider-Man and Shocker? That clip will never get old. But how are you all doing, everyone? There's a lot of people in here right away. Holy shit. What's up, everyone? It is the 74th episode of Toxic Tuesday, and I'm very happy to have all of you here. Of course, we have a lot of our regulars, and it looks like we have a whole wave of newbies as well. So I'll do a quick acknowledgement as we talk about the 74th episode. What's up, Lisa, Bush McFadden, Phantom Outsider, Brian Barth, Mr. Tickletron, Cosmic Vader, Sander, Hammer Slag, Davina, Duckworth, the Wolf Dog 123, John Riker, Stuart Mitchell, Fat, Elvis, D. Bud Martin, the lovely Sherry Keeley Chow, Phoenix Knight, OA, Billy Go Boom, Inverse Opinion, Brian McCann. How are you guys doing? Thank you, Jim J. Hello, hello, hello. There's a bot. Where's the bot? I don't see the bot. I know I got mods here, so one of those renters, take it down. Strike that son of a bitch down. What's up, guys? Hopefully you all have a great Tuesday night. Obviously, we had a really great chat earlier, not too long ago, on Midnight's Edge After Dark, courtesy of Tom. Really great show. We'll run a discussion on what's going on with that superhero universe. And well, now that we've done that show, we're on to now the big game show, the Super Bowl of it all, the Toxic Tuesday of it all. And this is going to be a very interesting movie to talk about with Avatar, because I've been so excited to really not talk about Waterworld, but talk about Avatar. You're just frothing at the mouth, fucking with you all. Waterworld is very, very reactive, to say that. Very reactive, and it's something that I did not see actually until recent years of my living. But that's going to be a subject for great conversation, because I don't think we're all going to agree on this movie. I think that's what's going to be great, because the makings of this movie is just as intriguing, if not even more intriguing than the movie itself, which is something that can be said about the DC universe of the movies, that you can make a whole great movie / documentary out of all the craziness and the production hell of it. This is one of those. So anyways, I'm going to kind of lay off those things and save it for the show. And yes, congratulations to Mark D with the C for 500. And let's bring him on board to the show. Congratulations, Mr. Fortune 500 Club, Mark D with the C.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Really, as I always joke, my kids are like, you mean 500 people followed you? My, it's just thanks to everyone. Thank you to Nick and all my buddies on the panel. And it's a lot of great fun hanging out here. But I was talking to Clobber times the other night. You're human too, so it's nice to hit those milestones as well. So, but thanks everyone, and maybe I'll get another 500 subs tonight. That'd be awesome. But no, this is a fun movie. This is could be a divisive movie. I mean, there's a lot going on, but one thing I can say is the Universal Studio stunt show of Waterworld is phenomenal. I don't care what anyone says. That show is awesome. So there's no arguing about that one. But
we'll be discussing that, all the mediums that this thing spawned. We will be talking about that. But hey, good to have you. Congratulations on 500 subs.
Thank you.
You are officially Hey, dude, I mean, thank you for the help. Really, we're helping each other here. You're gonna be at 1K. It's only inevitable, and it's gonna be massive. And when you get there, it's gonna be huge when that happens. I cannot wait. So until then, dude, the journey is only getting started. All right, let's bring in another man who's absolutely now back on the video front and killing it. Mr. Keto Simple himself, Dustin. What's up, dude?
Congratulations, Mark.
Thank you, Dustin. Yep.
Yeah, man. Oh, this fucking movie.
He made Nick snarf. Was that water you snarfed on, or was it beer? Hopefully, it was beer.
So I watched that 3-hour fucking version of this movie.
You
We gotta clip that. That's better than Jennifer
Oh.
Aniston snarfing.
Oh.
Whoa.
Jennifer Lawrence. No, she's the original first snarfer, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be a good conversation tonight. You lead with those comments, Dustin, and I know tonight is gonna be a very intriguing night. I can already.
I want to know more about like the backstage
Oh,
shit,
it's
like
good.
the making of. I just found out that they're, Mark brought up the whole idea of the stage show in California, right?
Uh-huh.
And like I just happened to watch. There's a YouTuber that I watch, and he was in California to go to Super Mario World. Like they had like a pass holder event. It doesn't open for like 2 more weeks or whatever. And he was from his hotel room. He was like pointing his camera at the stage show as it was going on, and you could see like the plane flying through and shit. And I'm like, wait, Waterworld has a show?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan said it was awesome. He attended it. I watched a Joe Rogan clip about it.
Oh, no shit.
That was good
I'm
stuff.
looking forward
We'll
to
talk about, yeah. Well, I'm looking for a show too, just because of the conversation around this movie. Once again, is equally as intriguing in the movie. But let's bring in our other guys here. He is our red shirt. Now I'm going to say our now. How are you? Just another red shirt.
Oh, I'm doing great. My video seems to be lagging as it says I'm still backstage. I don't know if you can hear me.
Oh, loud and clear.
We got you good.
Okay. Yep. This movie is an eco-mentalist wet dream. I couldn't stop laughing. I think this is the most unintentionally funny movie I've seen in years.
Good.
So we'll get into that. This movie definitely has some point and laugh moments that are just brilliantly funny.
Some high quality H2O.
Yeah, I can feel this is gonna be one for the ages tonight. Well, hey, red shirt, I'm glad you got your extra viewing in, and I can tell this you definitely got some stuff to say about this one. And as always, sir, it's great to have you. Let's bring in another 2 guys. He is that 70s rock fan, and he
Good
is
evening.
5 subs away from 900. Hint,
Sweet.
hint.
4 now.
4 now.
Apparently.
Oh.
The hits just keep on coming. Well, good evening, everybody. I must admit, I'm not really that well prepared because I had a bit of a problem with my keyboard, and I ended up watching a movie called Waterworld for 2 hours. So, may not be the same movie. I'm
No
not sure.
No wonder your keyboard went bad. You're
That's
watching
right.
that kind of
it was a
movie.
sticky
Yeah.
keyboard. But I'm going to be controversial tonight because I like this movie. So
Oh, I do
that's all I
too.
have to say. Yeah. That's all I have to say about that. I like this movie. If Mad Max could water ski, that's what we'd have for this movie.
Oh, it's absolutely Mad Max on water. Totally is. And that's another part of the conversation we'll get into. Oh, we lost our red shirt. Red shirt, come back.
Yeah.
Well, 70s, as always, sir. It's great to have you.
Good to be here, mate.
I'm glad you came. lot.
Phrasing.
The Mad Max on the
Amazing.
water. So if it froze over, it would be Mad Max on ice.
Mad Max on
Yeah.
ice. What a great idea for a live show. Mad Max on ice.
Yes.
You could have that. You
Oh,
could have
man.
that Finnish skater that was been in the news recently. The one that fell over. The guy the girl that had
Hey,
the
I
heavy
used to
beard.
figure skate. It's not easy.
Yeah,
All right.
Yep.
it's not easy for the ice.
No.
Yeah, especially if I land on it.
Well, let's bring in our other guy here, the guy who pitched this idea, and I'm just like, yeah, let's do it. And I give him all the credit for entertaining this idea because we needed something that was going to test us. And I think he gave us quite the push to do that.
Yes,
Mr. Tom
you can blame
Connors.
me. You can
Oh, I
blame me
thank
for
you.
the whole thing.
I thank you. I'm
Uh,
grateful.
I think some context is in order. Okay. There was some whether or not we were going to be able to do True Lies the
Yeah.
week before. So there was some bringing up of possible alternatives. And half jokingly, I brought up Waterworld. And Nick took it seriously, to everybody else's chagrin. So yeah, I mean, for what it is, and I'm like, well, not only is there Waterworld, but there's the 3-hour cut. Have you guys seen it? And of course, nobody knew what the fuck I was talking about.
God,
so
no.
we'll explain this as we get going here, but I have to apologize up front. This is my fault. So for anybody who suffered for the 3 hours of the Ulysses cut, I apologize on this panel. And for those in the chat who may have watched the film in preparation and didn't enjoy themselves, I apologize. But for those who had a good time, you're with me on this one, okay? I got you.
I'm with you on this one. I am. Flaws and all, warts and all, AIDS and all on this one. So, all right. So I want to show you my introduction to this. Remember I said earlier that the cable guy was the first reason I ever heard of Waterworld? This is why the cable guy was my gateway to it. Right here.
Dry land is not a myth. I see it. Kevin
Oh shit, I forgot about this.
The cable guy was my introduction because that line stuck with me when they were fighting on that satellite tower many moons back. I was obsessed with the cable guy when I was a kid. I was like, I couldn't stop watching that movie between that scene.
You like the days when Jim Carrey was funny, then, is what you're saying.
Oh, I was obsessed. I mean, between that,
remember when they used to be funny?
Oh, yeah, I remember. Pepperidge Farm remembers. I mean, yeah, he overacted, but I didn't care because it was entertaining and it was worth it. But yes, the cable guy, that line stuck out because everything he had was a reference to things. And obviously, I heard that Waterworld line. I'm like, huh, okay, Waterworld. So then eventually, sometime later in life, I eventually got to it at some point. And I remember actually thinking to myself, like, damn, this movie is actually a really good movie. And I've reached, of course, rewatched it recently. I'm like, yeah, it's got its flaws. Yeah, there's some age and time that has done some things. But there's some things I actually appreciate, shall I admit, I say, more about this movie. And I feel like this is the very first part of the discussion I want to lead with. This is one of the very last movies where it was dominant on practical effect usage. And this was before things started really ramping up with CGI, because not many years later, think about it, it was 95 when this came out. And it was only 1999 that The Phantom Menace came out. That's a 4-year difference. And don't forget, too, 97 with Titanic, because at this point in time, this was the most expensive movie made. A year before that, it was True Lies. Waterworld changed that. It was originally budgeted for $3 million, but things kept going wrong.
Well, okay. I think we should start off first and foremost with this. Let's totally dismiss the myth out there that this movie was a flop. It was not a flop.
It was not.
In fact, it is the 10th highest grossing movie domestically of that year. If you add in worldwide, I don't even know, because the movie worldwide grossed nearly $300 million in 1995. So take that into consideration. Like, the biggest movie of 1995 was Batman Forever, and like worldwide, I think that didn't even do that much, to be honest with you, from what I'm looking at here. So I don't know. To be 100% clear with you, let me look here to find Batman Forever.
Definitely not a flop either way, I guess, right? Yeah.
No, yeah. The problem was the budget, right? And then okay, so worldwide, Batman Forever, for instance, made $336 million. So this made a little less than $50 million than that. So it still would be in the top 10 or whatever, no matter which way you cut it. On that note, we got to remember that. Okay, so this movie started out, I think that's probably the best way to start this before we get too deep into this, is it was basically a writer's idea. Let me grab his name here. Peter Rader had this idea that he's like, at that time there was like, you threw a rock and you had a Mad Max ripoff, right? Like Corman was basically making a living off of them. At that point, like they were everywhere. Like, so his idea, because this actually started probably almost a decade or more before the movie actually came to fruition. But so Peter had this idea of, okay, these movies are cheap to make. I'm going to go in and pitch one of these Mad Max style movies. What's cheap. Something? Yeah, exactly. Cheap being the operative word here. He goes, so what's one of these kind of movies or what's something that hasn't been done in one of these post-apocalyptic movies? Well, they're always in the desert because it's cheap to shoot there. But what if they're on the water? He asked himself, like a dumb shit.
That'll be cheaper.
Yeah, so he's like, it shouldn't be too expensive. So of course, the first person he showed the script to are like, are you fucking insane? This movie's going to cost a fortune to make. So as he come to learn pretty quickly, this movie was going to cost a fucking fortune to make. And it took him years to nurse this idea through. And the initial idea was much, much bigger and grander than what we got. It was just this whole idea of, it was kind of like Mad Max meets Planet of the Apes in a sense that Waterworld was more or less set up in that version of it is like, we weren't supposed to be sure whether or not it was Earth yet until the end of the movie. Like that big reveal at the end of the movie of it being Everest.
Yes.
That was like the big teetering point. Like that was your they blew it up, damn you moment. You're like, oh shit, we've been on Earth this whole fucking time kind of thing. So like that was like the smokers and stuff were actually mutants. There was a bunch more other mutants that we were supposed to like think they were alien creatures and then find out later that they were actually mutated, because of the water world. So this had a much grander idea.
That all out.
Yeah. So they scaled all that shit back. But as Nick was saying, CGI was in its infancy at this point. We'd basically been able to figure out Terminator 2, Jurassic Park, a few things. There is some CGI in this movie, but most of it's compositing. Like it's just to be able to add water to certain things. And
it's an enhancement. It's an enhancement to the scenes. It's
the sad thing is not even 5 years later, like Nick said, this movie would have cost half the fucking budget because they could have just filmed it anywhere and you could have scrubbed shit out or put a green screen behind them. And it wouldn't have been such a big deal anymore. It wouldn't have been so expensive, and now you can make it for next to nothing, which is probably why they've announced recently that they're working on a series of it. I think last year they announced it. So we could be seeing the Mariner again in the near future. But yeah, Kevin Costner got involved. That kind of got the movie rolling a little bit farther along. They rewrote it more for Kevin Costner's character. The original cut, as we saw, was closer to in the Ulysses cut. And we'll talk about that here. Compared to the theatrical cut is much different. The theatrical cut, it's much more straightforward action film. Kevin Costner is presented as more of a heroic figure than he is in the Ulysses cut. It takes him a lot longer to lead up to that, as we'll see here, because I think these are clips from the Ulysses cut, if I'm not mistaken.
I clipped the Ulysses cut, yep.
So, where did the Ulysses cut come from? Then quickly try to explain this. So, when the movie finally made its way to television, back then, if you guys will, most of you on the panel remember, to make a movie fit within a time allotted, they would either have to chop some stuff out to make it fit within 90 minutes so they could have it in a 2-hour span, or they would expand it by adding scenes back into the movie. In fact, Dino De Laurentiis had a great fucking way of making money with this. He would make movies long enough that they would spread it over 2 nights so he could basically charge them the amount for 2 movies for one. So Waterworld was one of these movies where they happened to have a bunch of extra footage. So depending on which TV version they added anywhere from 15 to X amount of minutes to it. I don't know initially where all of it came from, but through various TV cuts from the US and UK.
Ooh, look at that outfit he's wearing.
Yeah, fans cobbled together a longer cut of the film, which expands upon some of these ideas, adds a little bit more to Kevin Costner's character and their dynamic. And as we've seen here, a little bit more with the whole, it gives him a name at the end, which is kind of the catch with it. We'll get
Ulysses,
to that.
Right.
Yeah. And stuff like that. So like for fans, this was one of those cuts that has existed for years on the internet, being downloaded and passed along. So when Arrow redid this a couple years back for a release, they actually reconstructed not only the TV version, but the Ulysses cut as well. So here we go. We actually have the Ulysses cut in a fully fledged released version that's not like a bootleg. Basically, speaking of bootlegs, there's some booty head legs. So yeah, that's where we're at with this. I'm sorry I took up 10 minutes just talking about that.
But dude, I think all that
it needed get up to be front. Said. Now the production itself is a whole nother story we can get into as we get through the movie.
Oh yes, oh absolutely. You know, it's interesting for a movie that had its. I guess we'll just use the term underperform for what they were expecting. We'll say for what they were expecting, it underperformed. Because yes, I agree, it was not a bomb by any means. Because especially when you factor in the worldwide number, and it also had successful video sales as well too. If people want to go that far in and say, hey, look at the numbers, and as someone mentioned in the chat earlier, it was a big deal in Asia. So there was merit to box office did. Like I said,
it had
maybe
toys, it had video games, it had all kinds.
It had
of
a Marvel comic, and this is what's interesting about the Marvel comic. So when the Marvel comic came out and they had the main character Mariner, there was speculation on why Mariner didn't look like Kevin Costner because was there a likeness thing involved? Why the character couldn't look like Kevin Costner?
They probably didn't want to pay him, or he wanted too much, or he said no.
Yep. So there's that. There's obviously there's a video game license. Now I remember seeing some of the graphics for it way back, and the graphics look good, but from what I heard the gameplay was absolutely atrocious. So it's like, okay, but and I do know there's even a whole toy line too. So yeah, toy line. You had a video game, you had comic books. And then, of course, we have an infamous, was it Universal Studios? Correct me if I'm wrong,
guys. Yeah, you guys were talking about the Universal Studio ride, which actually somebody got hurt last week on.
I heard.
Got hurt?
I didn't know about that earlier today. I was like, damn.
One of the stunt performers, or
I guess so. I don't know. I don't think it was bad. So it was like, I think they're okay.
It was bad. It wasn't too.
Too bad.
That show is wild. I mean, you watch it.
Yeah, it's very popular from what I heard.
I'm digging up my pictures when I went there. This is so long ago. I don't have a film. I was hoping.
Now this scene here has some of the most, some of the early stuff as far as edition stuff. Like I think that stuff with like the old guy had some extra stuff to it.
Yeah.
A lot of the city stuff here has where we start to see some of the newer footage. But yeah.
So, Sander, I see your comment here, and I was going to address it later on, but since you already brought it here, yes, Miss Triplehorn did avoid that scene where she had to drop the cloth. We'll just say drop the cloth, and she had to take. She had to have 3 girls come in the room and drop their cloths, and she said apparently it was a really awkward. She said apparently it was a really awkward but funny moment when she had to look at all 3 of them and just say who was the most fitted to her body. Like, no, it was not Jeannie Triplehorn. So I know
you know who it really was though.
Mad Mardigan. Yeah,
that's who it was.
All roads always lead to Mad Mardigan, no matter what happens. You know what? I gotta say, the Mariner is a very toxic man. He didn't even want her. He was just like, no, you didn't even want me.
He's looking at her chest thinking, how much liquid?
Toxic, though.
Yeah, he's looking at her chest thinking, how much liquid can I get out of those? This is practical. He's a practical man.
Can you milk a cat?
So, okay, I guess the other thing we need to get out of the way right away is this is clearly sci-fi because if you look into it, doing any kind of research, if the ice caps were actually to melt, it wouldn't make the ocean raise, but maybe a couple feet. It wouldn't do as much damage as this movie is trying to portray.
Certain people think this is a realistic depiction of what may happen. So,
unfortunately, yes, that can be a case sometimes.
But then again, those people think Wakanda is real too. So it's
dude, there's a town in my state literally called Wakanda, and when the first Black Panther movie took off, people told me in that town who lived in that town that they would get slammed about phone calls, about where's your business from? Oh, Wakanda, yeah, dude, yeah. So there's a town in my state called Wakanda. Yes, it's real. WAUCONDA, Illinois. Yes, it's a real thing, folks. So, and no, Stanley and Jack Kirby. I don't know if they had heard of it or not, but regardless, this movie was basically just Mad Max on water. That's what it was. With the dystopian setting, the outfits.
For that.
I do too. That was the intention. They wanted to do after the Road Warrior. They're like, we gotta do something that rips it off, and they were shameless about it and saying, you know what? I can appreciate their honesty up front. They let us know, yes, it's a ripoff of Mad Max. and we're gonna go for it and shoot for the stars. Obviously, you know, Costner's no Gibson. He ain't the Road Warrior.
No.
But I like.
He was huge back then. He was big.
This
then,
was
yeah.
that's the thing. Is a
Yeah.
lot of people, going against myths and misconceptions again. A lot of people think, oh, this is the movie that killed his career. Oh no, it was the Postman in Wyatt Earp that killed his career for a while.
And
there.
this is the
Welcome
most
back,
toxic.
Richard.
This is the most toxic slide in the whole movie. I think
You were
so.
talking about this earlier, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, come on, how horrible is
No
this?
man
I mean,
turns down a lot.
maybe he's not interested in women. You know, come on, what are you thinking here? This is a horrible line.
true.
Should be
Yeah,
would have
We
flown
weren't thinking
today.
that in
Yeah.
'95.
yeah.
94,
But at the
93.
same time, even at this point in this kind of a world, breeding is probably a big deal, because like they even in this Ulysses cut they talk more about this town than is what's in the theatrical cut.
Yeah.
And you even have was it Neela, however you say your name, alone backwards, Enola. That's what it is.
Enola, which is
Enola.
alone. Yeah,
Alone
alone
backwards,
the
yeah.
other way.
Well,
What
what
that
they
looks
didn't
like.
Gills.
Yeah.
What
It
they
doesn't look
didn't
like
know
you.
is that Ulysses here had a huge collection of Skinamax VHS on his boat. He didn't pay them.
But anyway, in a scene that's added to this version, she points out how in the city you weren't allowed to get pregnant unless somebody else was died or whatever, so you could take their place.
Yeah.
And speaking
Makes
of the
sense.
city, this is probably one of the first points where we got to something that was a big deal for the movie, because this thing was actually built. This was real. Like what we see in the movie,
Yes.
it is full size, built set. It was 3 sections put together, and like they would have to warn people to be careful because this shit was, like
It's
rivets
real,
and shit sticking out, and like, it's not fake shit, kids. It's
it's the real
And I'm
deal.
glad they did that, because I think if it would have been 5 years ahead, like 5 years later, and full of CGI and the water was fake, it would just not have the same grit feel to it. It would be too polished.
And I'm curious to hear from some of the guys here who didn't like the movie so much. Please don't hesitate to pipe up, because look, this is a
That
movie
looks
that
great.
has Mystery Science Theater 3000 capabilities all over it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I just love it for some of its cheesiness too, because
Oh, it's
Nick's
very
right.
easy.
This movie captures the last part of that era for me, as far as I'm concerned. We had just a few movies in that early 90s that came out that were before the CGI takeover. And this is just one. I mean, you could argue it was kind of the last big one, because like Nick said, for a couple of years, it was the most expensive film ever made until I think.
Titanic.
What was it?
Because before this, it was True Lies.
So was it Titanic?
Then
Yeah, you're right.
Waterworld exceeded it, because obviously things went absolutely wrong on a daily basis. And then after Waterworld, it became Titanic. So it's James Gunn, then Kevin Reynolds, then back to James. I mean, why I say James Gunn?
We've been talking James Gunn all day.
I know. Sorry.
excused.
James Cameron. James Cameron, Peter Reynolds, back to James Cameron. Sorry.
And I think James
know,
Cameron had it before that with Terminator 2, actually, as well, which is funny. He beat
I'm
his
pretty,
own.
pretty sure there's a few 80s metal bands modeled their costumes on this stuff too.
Oh,
I mean, it's,
yeah.
especially the guy with the long blonde hair that we saw earlier.
Well, and what's funny is if people think that that Kevin Costner got like a big payday out of this, I mean, he may have on the back end, but I doubt it was
money
much.
He spent out of his own wallet.
I was just gonna say this he
Over
made absolutely
$20
nothing off this
million.
movie. He spent over 20 million of his own cash.
Wow.
His
on this
own
movie. Yeah.
money went to this movie, guys. So that is a big, kind of a big deal if you think about it, because
You never spend your own money on a movie in Hollywood. That is
Yes.
the number one rule.
Yes. Also, this movie had production shut down 3 times, and there's one time where everything got knocked over and they had to rebuild back up. Yeah, a big storm happened. People were getting sick left and right. And to pretty much piggyback off of what Dustin was saying, yeah, like it's a good thing this movie was made when it was, because it really does have, like Dustin said, that grit, that feel that really made you feel like it almost made you feel like you were indirectly like in the thick and the slimy and the nastiness of all that water and being musty and smelly, living
Or the dry
in that
salt
ocean.
air and all that.
Yeah.
The Ford
It
Mustang,
really makes you
Ford Mustang manual there.
See that, yeah.
That's how he must have learned how to build that engine.
And the yellow
No, that's
paint
what's cool. Is I
Mustang
like all
Chroma.
the little things that, like, But no, like you're 100% right. And then the other thing is when the director first took this movie on, when Kevin Reynolds did,
other thing.
He went to talk to Steven Spielberg, since Jaws is probably at that time was the most famous movie done on water. And he goes, "Okay, Steven, I'm going to do this movie called Waterworld. Do you have any suggestions for me?" He's like, "Yeah, don't."
Yeah, Steven Spielberg was very adamant that he did not do this movie.
He goes, Jaws was scheduled for 45 days. We shot for 145 days. He goes, and the reason for that is because the water is so unpredictable. It took us forever to shoot everything on the water because you have a problem with whether it's bad, just beyond like things like bad weather and stuff like that.
Just the stability of the cameras,
all kinds of shit. You have to truck out all your people. You have to truck out two separate boats usually, and then you have to be in a situation where you can at least get a 180 scan of the horizon usually. And let's just say all of a sudden a fucking boat decides they're going to come by. So what you have to do then is you have to either sit there and wait for that boat to come by or reset everything.
Yep.
And if you're not in a position to where you can reset everything to where there's not land or something else on the other side of you, then they actually did the math on Jaws a lot of the time. They figured it'd be better just to wait for the fucking boats to come through the horizon, sit there and wait, than the time it took to shift everything in the boats. Because you're talking 2 or 3 boats that would have to shift everything. You have the light boat, the camera boat, and the actors on the boat. So, and Waterworld is that times 1,000. Like, because you have all this shit.
The ocean.
And this was a movie that was in the news constantly when it was in the making of it. Yeah. It was almost like they had nightly fucking updates in some cases with some of this shit because people were getting hurt. The fucking thing was falling apart.
People were getting sick.
The movie was costing like $1 million a fucking day or more to shoot. People were getting sick, like you said. Tetanus shots everywhere. Fucking.
Yeah, look at the set. I mean, look at that.
They had like 2 or 3 people almost drown or die. I can't remember exactly how many, but yeah, this is the full set here. This is a great shot.
Look at that shot. I mean,
that is a nice set.
There's a tree growing here.
That is a really amazing set. That is. Once again, something that I don't feel like CG would make look as good because once again, as Tom said earlier, there's minimal use, and I said I feel like the CG is used to enhance scenes, not something to just solely rely on. This was obviously where it was necessary, and it really made you feel like you were living in that where the Mad
CGI
Max
is.
environment.
I can tell you exactly where the CGI is, and it's not for a while.
They did, they were credited some of the water effects were CGI, but I mean, and this is they had to build this on the water too. Yeah, they're not building this on land either, too, which just makes everything that much.
They spent. Oh, here you go. You want to know where the bulk of the CGI budget went? The underwater city, and there's just certain scenes where they're combining shit there that they used it for, and the big carrier scene at the end. Anytime you see water, that's CGI because it was cheaper for them to have big green tarps around this built. They actually built a fucking.
It sounds like
Valdez.
No, it does sound
Exxon
like a
Valdez.
Lot. Does sound like a lot of the budget went on finding the right butt for Genie. It did
go on a little bit of that. 3 people were killed in finding
3 people died finding that butt.
It's funny because with what happened with like The Crow and The Dark Knight and unfortunate tragedies happening, and of course then there's Rust. We all know that incident. There's always incidents where there's having people unfortunately die. This movie was basically setting people up to die in it. And it's a miracle that everyone who worked on this thing survived. It really is a miracle because this was setting people up to not come back from this because everything about making this movie was absolutely dangerous. This movie was supposed to be done in 90 days. You know how many days it ended up taking? Around 150 something days. So you're
a little bit more than Jaws. Yep,
6 to 7 extra 6 to 7 weeks. This had to have been absolute hell to work on. On top of it, since it was directed by Kevin Reynolds, prior to this, Reynolds and Costner actually had beef that they actually buried the hatchet on for this movie. And then on top of it, Costner ended up going through a divorce while making this movie.
It
which
doesn't
Reynolds
end
was
there.
kind of sympathetic to.
It doesn't end there, actually.
No,
Nick, because
it does
depending on who you ask, because here's the thing: there has been so many different changes over the years as to what happened behind the scenes. You'll have some people say that it was 10 times worse than everybody says, and you'll have other people say it was not nearly as bad as that the press let it out to be. But there was a rumor, speaking of Kevin Reynolds and Kevin Costner having falling out.
Mm.
There's the rumor that Reynolds left and Costner finished this movie.
Yeah.
I think it's true because that's where the difference of the cuts comes in too, as well. Because you'll notice, especially if you watch the different cuts now, it's not an astronomically different movie. But I don't know if any of you guys remember the 2-hour cut compared to what we saw with the 3-hour cut.
That's what I was trying to remember now, because this cut is a lot better than the original cut, and I did like the original movie. I mean, there's some scenes that are kind of ridiculous, and but just the overall, that trimarang is just so effing awesome. And I grew up sailing, so that boat is just phenomenal. Like the mechanics of it, and the engineering, and
the production
how they got that
design,
to work.
Mark, is brilliant. I mean,
Beautiful.
things like that are just fantastic. It's a great movie in those respects.
This
how he's driving the boat.
This movie.
Go ahead, Red Shirt.
This movie started out great. This movie started out great for me. I was really looking forward to keeping going. It hasn't hit the point where I started going, wait a minute. So to Tom, the opening of this and the battle scene here and all the set pieces and that trimaran. Oh, and by the way, one lesson, and Mark DDC knows this: never, ever steal a sailor's limes.
Never squeeze his lemons ever.
But it started out.
His lemons.
It started out well.
Hey, it's a guy.
Hey, get in here,
Matt.
It started out great.
You need your gin and tonic on the high seas.
That Red Shirt, I feel like it's pretty good and got great as it went on. I think it improved.
And we're all overlooking the best part of it, which is fucking Dennis Hopper.
I was just going to say that. 70s. I was going to say, look, Dennis Hopper in one of his best performances of that era. Like,
how could you not like that?
The only performance I'd say that he did better in this era was probably Koopa in Mario Brothers. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
Yeah, Speed was pretty good. Pop Quiz, Hot Shot.
Well, that is too. But like, he had those three. Well, True Romances, but he's the good guy in that one. But the three where he chews the scenery is a fucking bad guy. You're right. Those three movies.
How could you?
He did them all three in a row. All three in a row. And you got to imagine the hell he was going through on this picture too. I mean, but at the same time, he seems like he's having so much fucking fun.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Bad guy? Hell yeah, dude. You had.
I mean, he just came across like fucking insane.
He's Aquaman here too, right?
Well, you guys talk about things to laugh at. One of the first things I remember laughing at this time, I'm like, this is supposed to be like 500 years in the future. How the fuck do they have cigarettes still? Did he come across like a tanker full of fucking cigarettes or something?
Yeah, well, they did have a bottle of Jack Daniels. Deacon was drinking, aka Dennis Hopper. His character was Deacon. He was drinking Jack Daniels, and I'm like, man, that seriously has to taste just as bad as piss as he was drinking that shit.
No, but who was it said earlier that this is like I don't know, a wet dream of an activist, wet dream, however you put it?
Yeah,
because the smokers thing too is clearly of that era of California, because they were so diehard killing smoking at that point.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's where the smoking thing really came into play more so than anything. But I think that's always been a part of the characters anyway. But still, like, it just struck me.
And how'd they have the fuel? Because gasoline doesn't last that long.
Well, it does show that they're refining the fuel. That's the thing. And they do talk a little bit more about it in the extended cut than the original version. They already kind of give you an idea. Because he asks, how much black stuff do we got left? And he tells them how much they got left. And then he asks, how much are we going to have after refining it? And then he tells them. So that's the thing. Is they're doing it on their own already. So they're finding oil here and there. And like, that's what I love about this world.
You have to refine it. Otherwise, it's not, your gas is only going to last maybe. You put stable in.
And not only that, Dennis Hopper is set up as the ultimate capitalist, especially in the extended cut. Because in the cut that we have, normally, it just, he just wants to get to land. In the extended cut, is what I love is that you get this whole idea that he wants to set up this whole fucking golf course, all this shit. Yeah. He wants to take it right back to
18 holes, baby.
18 holes, baby.
You know, that's that. That's the thing. What do they have against golf? Because the arch villain wants to create golf courses. It's like, oh,
is he a Donald
That's
Trump
all he
figure?
wanted. That's all he wanted to do is build a golf course. It's not
Well,
a
and of
big
course,
deal.
the Exxon Valdez thing is right on the fucking nose, right? Because if
Yeah.
you notice, okay, here's the other separation.
Oh, it is.
Only
Joe
the
Hazelwood.
only the smokers use gas. Nobody else uses gas. Notice that. So that's
Right.
the other thing too. So the smokers represent all the things that in the 90s that
That's why we should side with the smokers.
in a weird
good
way.
guys.
I found that's funny you say that. Like, that was what I was getting to in the 70s. I'm like,
Yeah.
by the end of the movie, I'm like, I want to fucking hang out with these guys. Especially when you watch the extended cut and you realize, shit, Jack Black's in their gang. I want to be in that gang.
And
Dude,
Dennis Hopper's
right?
funny. His character's funny. Deacon
I like
is a
that
funny
Dennis
guy.
Hopper's like, hey, let me try. I'm good with kids.
Technically, he was. The
Or no, he
best
says
of that
kids
movie.
like me.
you know-
That's what it was. He said, yeah.
Well, the mirror narrows
Yeah,
ruthless
you mentioned-
towards,
you
towards the
men-
girl by default. So that's kind of true.
Yep.
Go ahead, Richard.
What were you saying, Red Shirt? Sorry.
You mentioned cigarettes and Jack Daniels, but think about it for a second. Those jet skis. Okay,
Yeah.
you can distill fuel for those, but how do you keep them running when you don't have 100 jet skis to use for spare parts? This has been several hundred years. Do you think jet
Right?
skis last 100 years?
No.
No.
That's the humor of this whole thing. It's like none of this shit would last. Especially in an okay. I'm gonna tell you something. Anybody, I've never been to the ocean, never once in my entire life, but I know enough about salt water to know that nothing lasts in fucking salt water. In an saltwater
That's why the
environment,
cars get destroyed where I live.
everything gets destroyed. Exactly. Go ahead, guys. For anybody who's from the coast,
No,
please.
yeah. I mean, everything, living on a ship is really difficult. I mean, I've taken some trips.
There
on
you go.
sailboats.
80s metal band right there.
Yeah.
A European 80s metal band, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like, yeah. Agreed.
But the one funny thing is, if you've been on a boat for a week or more and you get off to go on dry land, you get land sickness. It's like you go crazy because you're not rocking anymore, which is true. It's like but living on a boat, especially a small boat, is not easy. I mean, it's but it's an amazing thing. But yeah, everything rusts. Everything's always getting wet. There's always salt there, salt everywhere, and
Not much is gonna live through that. Not that long.
Nah, last long. Yeah.
No. And
It did take
any
me a
clothing
while.
you have. What's that?
I was gonna say, it took me a while to figure out that when they were talking about hydro, they were talking about water and not some kind of pill.
But within,
Right.
if we as humans, if humans disappear tomorrow, all traces of our civilization would be wiped out within 1,000 years. Virtually all. They would be rusted away, disintegrated, buried, melted, you name it. There would be nothing left. Like those boats would be rusted to nothing within.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah,
well, they
it
do
just doesn't
capture
work.
some of that in this movie, but like, I mean, I could believe if this was 100, 200 years out, maybe at the most.
Not 500 though.
Not 500 fucking years out.
Do they
yeah.
ever say what it is? They don't tell you, right?
They don't say in the
whatever
movie directly, but it's 2,500 in the years, I think.
And Genie Triplehorn's butt would not be that size
I think
either. It
in the
would
year
be-
2,500. Yeah.
I think they
All right.
said.
They're gonna be a lot skinnier too, right? I mean,
Okay,
you
I
said
think they
lot
said
skinnier than
hundreds.
that.
right?
Well, red shirt.
Hundreds,
Red shirt.
Yeah, they said hundreds.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Can you hear
the
me?
intro, it says hundreds of years. Yeah, you're on a bit of a delay, red shirt. That's all. It's like
he's
4 or
on
5
and
seconds
off
delay.
on that. His last
No.
part was perfectly timed. Nope. No.
And
Oh,
our
here we got the
understanding of how
famous
old
scene
she
here.
is even
All right,
now-
Eddie. I'm gonna read this direct dono real quick in our super chat, and then we'll continue on with our show. Oh yeah, and we got Steven on deleted stage for $1.99. Says, "Hail Nick, panel, Matt, mods, and chat. I haven't seen Waterworld since the extended edition aired on ABC Sunday night at the movies back in the day.
Yep.
I don't remember many plot details, but I remember getting a kick out of the Exxon Valdez reference." Well, thank you for the $1.99, sir. And no, I admit I was lacking in knowledge on that reference, and I still got to pick up some pieces on that myself. So I hear that, brother. And nice to see you here, man. Thanks for
on
dropping
that note,
that. Yeah,
in
go
this
ahead.
movie's defense, that's the thing, is as a kid I enjoyed it for, as a 14, 15-year-old when it came out, whatever. I enjoyed it just for the action element of it and the whole production value and the fun of it all. I didn't hate it as much as some people did. But then seeing it now, seeing both the theatrical cut and then watching again the extended cut, because I too have not seen the extended cut probably since it was on TV. I don't think, maybe I watched the Ulysses cut once, but anyway, like there's a lot more stuff I find in this movie now than I didn't notice before, especially like the Exxon band, all the stuff with the smokers. Like I had a field day with the smokers this time out because it has been like 10, 20 years since I'd seen the movie when we watched it this time out.
They kind of remind me of the guys from Highlander 2, which that movie doesn't exist either. The smoker's a little bit over the top and ridiculous. But, that's the one thing I didn't like in this movie watching it again. It's just a little bit too much craziness and maybe not, over
that's
the
fair,
top.
but to me, I liked it. I don't know.
Yeah, but the movie holds up pretty well, I think. I mean, it's
I think it's a great sci-fi actioner, Mark. Yeah, it's a fantastically well-produced sci-fi actioner with great production design, crazy villain. Yeah,
very great villain.
I mean, it's science fiction action. You're not expecting Shakespeare.
Yeah,
no. I think people are very critical of it, and you've got.
I think Kevin Costner has like 10 lines in the whole movie.
I think this movie was just
tainted
by the taint. It was tainted by the stigma of the production hell and all the headlines it was making for all the issues that was going on with it. That it just got this preconceived notion that this movie is meant to be a disaster. Before we go into this bit, Jason Sandberg for $5 says so much water,
looks like shit.
Not enough soap.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason, for the $5. I do appreciate it. Thank you. And man, I laughed my ass off at this scene.
How's it look? It looks good, sir. Looks good. What do you think?
It looks good.
I don't want to die. It looks good.
No one wants to tell
like
Deacon the truth. No one. It took the kid. It took the kid to beg.
Yeah.
Yep. Go figure. Go freaking figure. And then, that's pretty much how it happens too. It always in the movies. Everyone doesn't want to piss the villain off, and Dennis Hopper once again worked his magic.
There's a kind of a resemblance here between Dennis Hopper and Tom. I'm feeling.
I'm. That is a compliment, sir. I will take that.
So, guess who turned down?
I'm probably taller than him, but
you're taller. Right.
Aye, sir.
Sir. Aye, sir.
Aye, sir.
You tell.
There we go.
Was it so? It was 95, right? Okay.
Yep.
Do you remember? Does anybody remember Raise the Titanic, 1980 movie?
Oh yeah, I read
that
the book,
was another
actually,
one that was filmed largely in the ocean, and it was a disaster. Budgetary
feels like
disaster.
cold
And it
shit.
feels like cold shit.
Yeah.
So Samuel L. Jackson actually turned down playing Deacon, and the reason why he did was because of a certain movie.
Nuke the whales.
that sounded way worse than it meant it to be, by the way.
I'm laughing more at 70s right now than anything.
I didn't mean anything by
I
that.
can't swim, motherfucker. I ain't doing no fucking movie called fucking Water fucking World. Fuck that.
Snakes.
No, he turned down the wine.
Do I look like I can swim, motherfucker?
He chose the damn snakes. No.
Oh, no, that was years later, yeah.
I know it was years later, but he only chose not to do this movie because he ended up doing Die Hard with a Vengeance. But can you imagine if he was Deacon? Imagine that scene with the eye. Imagine if he was talking about that eyeball scene. Can you imagine if
it looks like shit?
I love the boy down in the hold with the oil. He gets the most satisfying to him as a character ending in any movie ever.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, thank God.
I'm dead now, yeah.
That's the scene I was talking about. He's like, what do we got left? We got about 3 feet of the black stuff or whatever it is he said.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Poor fucker.
It's like Gary in the boat. It says Pope, yeah.
Yeah. And this is where you see the Mariners. He is the epitome of grade A jackass.
That's the big difference between the versions. I mean, I think most of this scene's in the theatrical cut, But in the theatrical cut, he warms up to her a hell of a lot quicker than he does here. Like it takes him a lot longer here. And in fact, the way the movie's cut is a little bit differently too. Like when we get to the end, when he decides to go save her, there's a whole chunk that they cut in a different order to where, and it was just so they could cut all that excess shit out for the theatrical cut. But instead of he just decides right away he's going to go help her, as opposed to in this version, as we see later on too, he's still reluctant to her. And it's kind of funny. Yeah, it's kind of funny because you got to remember, like to me, I mean, watching it this time out, watching the 3-hour cut, I did like that better because it was like, yeah, he's not going to warm up to people this quickly, like he does in the theatrical cut.
He's a solo guy. Yeah, he's been living on the ocean, right? Just by himself for you don't know how many years, right? You don't even know anything about his family, parents, no idea. And then then the end, he's kind of saying he's going off to look for people that might be like him, but he's got no one, right?
He's a loner,
he's a total loner. Yeah. So
well, not only that, they keep fucking his boat up. Like,
yeah, he just wants to be left alone. Yeah.
Don't draw on my boat, kid.
Well, I mean, she says the girl can't swim. Who couldn't swim in a world like this? I mean, it would be one of the first things you'd be taught to do.
You would think.
Yeah.
You would think. Yeah.
I think I think you're right, but I think part of that is to implicate that she has not been on this. No, she just hasn't been on water as long as everybody else. Like you're probably
she's an outsider. Like maybe they wouldn't let her swim or something.
Exactly, because she is still
other kids.
That's what I love about her whole little connection of all the shit she's drawing, and what's her face even says it, like she's drawing the things she sees.
Tom,
well, that's when Kevin Costner puts it together that she's drawn the things that she's seen on land when she was a baby.
Tom, are you saying she's the key to everything?
She is the key to everything. Who cares? It's done correctly. I don't give a shit.
Literally, she's got a key on her back.
She has got a key in her back. Yeah.
Well, not only that, the girl that's protecting her has a literal key on her fucking necklace too.
Yeah.
She should put it in her butt.
Wow.
And there's Jack Black. And you would know that from the theatrical cut. I did not know it until I watched the extended cut again. I'm like, oh shit, that's Jack Black. Well, we see him better if you got the scene. Yeah.
I know I didn't try not to clip too much. Actually, we should be in good shape because I don't have too many.
At least he doesn't get his arm blown off in this one.
So I have a question about Kevin Costner. Okay, so he's mutated to have gills, be able to swim effortlessly through the water, but he can't like hydrate with the ocean water.
No.
Yeah, he can't. Yep.
Evidently not. He needs fresh water to drink.
But that seems a little counterintuitive if you've evolved to seawater. That it seems like your body would be more able to process.
Well, they and again, this is.
I mean, there's a lot of what's in the film. Suspension of disbelief.
That one dude that makes the flying thing. I can't remember the actor's name or the character's name offhand, but the older guy, the little old guy that takes off in the little helicopter balloon thing.
The gyro captain.
The gyro captain guy. Movie. Yeah, basically the same character. But he even has in this version. That's what I like more is they have a little bit longer conversation than even in the theatrical cut. And even there, he's even talking about like clearly they've come across people before that are like this, but he has more capabilities than some of the other people have. So they're still in the process of evolution, I think and this is just my explanation from what I gathered in the movie. So he's still kind of half human, half mariner or whatever, but that's the whole thing.
There's Jack Black. There he is.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, go back to that. Yeah, dude, that's Jack.
He killed it.
This was, and also wait for it. Jack Black was also in The Cable Guy. He was Matthew Broderick's best friend who he played basketball with.
Yeah, but wasn't what's that Bruce Willis movie where he gets his arm shot off? That's the best one. The Jackal, A Day of the Jackal. Right into the Jackal. Bruce Willis shoots Jack Black's arm off from like 2 miles away. Just go out there and hold that up, will you? Hold it right there.
Yes, Michael Jeter is in Waterworld. That's correct. Yes, Michael Jeter is.
He is.
You know what's funny is they didn't get a spam.
Spam. I was going to say
Smeat, not spam.
Smeat, right? Spam. Yeah. Spam didn't pay. Couldn't pay.
They could have used that spam money too. Damn it.
Do we have numbers on this, Mark? What El Gablis said here.
Oh yeah, here
inflation. Let's
highlight
that.
Oh yeah, we brought this up.
The worst.
Actually,
we brought it. At this.
I don't know.
Yeah,
if
here we go.
I don't know if Elagabalus was up here at the front. Yeah, we talked about this at the top of the show. That's a big myth that this movie bombed.
And this is just for inflation.
Yeah, let's show the numbers.
Adjusted for inflation, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides,
Well,
the
expensive
fourth movie,
but not biggest.
well,
bomb.
adjusted for inflation, it's $456 million to make. So Age
I
of
see what
Ultron's
you got
number
here,
2.
Age of
Pirates of the
Ultron is number what?
Number 2, yep.
Wow.
Pirates of the Caribbean, Endgame,
I
Avatar,
think
Way
they're
of the
missing
Water.
100. I think they're missing 100
I
right
don't
there.
see any canon movies on here.
Yeah, so Waterworld's number 30. Now, of course, this is Wikipedia, but and of course, Hollywood accounting is always suspect.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But they're saying Waterworld cost $306 million, not adjusted for inflation, $172 million. So that was the number one. Dead Man's Chest. So you're going down the list. So the first Avatar was $299. And of course, the first old movie, someone in the chat a while back had mentioned, Wild Wild West was expensive. Cleopatra, which is down on this list.
Cleopatra's kind of similar to Waterworld in a sense that people think that flopped too, and it didn't really.
It made its money eventually.
But like the same thing with Waterworld. Yeah, it just didn't do what they were hoping for, especially on a budget like that.
Yeah. So one of the all-time classic movies, and the production on that. I think they buried everything on the desert, so for years they were finding pieces of the sets out there from Cleopatra. But yeah, so it's $275 million. Of course, things were probably a lot cheaper to make back then, relatively speaking. But so if you can imagine spending that much money back then. So, but most of the movies are considered modern movies now that are. Superman's the last one, down on the list.
Wow.
So, but even with CGI, so that's what's interesting too. You've got all these CGI effects, but you've got Age of Ultron. Take it with a grain of salt, but it's number one, and Waterworld's still in the top 15. So, how much money did Waterworld make? Let's see, what's the total gross
domestically?
It was 264.
Well, that's worldwide. 264 is worldwide, and that's not a bad number, and consider that it opened up also two small numbers at that time.
Well, it was brought up earlier.
95.
It was a really big movie in China at that time too. Yeah,
that was popular. Yeah,
and I'm looking up right now. I got the list of the 42 biggest bombs of all time as of 2020.
Would be up there,
and it's not even on the list. So
yeah,
that tells you anything. Out of 42 films, it's not on the list. So.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like the term underperformed would be more accurate, because it didn't do bad. Once again, it just didn't do what they were hoping for, considering everything that went wrong with it. That's all. And that's understandable.
This is in the added stuff too. This makes him a bigger dick too. Sorry.
Yeah.
No. Go ahead.
Yeah. Look at her drooling there. She's drooling. And she's a cutie patootie, as they say back in this movie. I forgot how good looking she was in this movie. So, Jeannie Triplehorn, very cute. And of course, he's very toxic too. He cuts her hair off too, right?
And the girl and Alona's hair, both of them
as punishment.
Anola's
for touching his shit.
She's got some sass, which I actually thought was great for her character. I thought her sassy, loud, constantly like being the out loud personality. The fact that she was like, I'm not afraid of you, and the fact that like she finally was just like back the hell off as soon as her hair got all cut.
I love Kim Coates.
Is that Kim Coates? That's Kim Coates, isn't it?
I think it is. Yeah.
Canadian kid.
Got new resin. I got new resin.
He's crazy in this. Yeah. We're not for sale. This is another. The more I think about this, Mariner's pretty damn toxic.
How do you make your hair look like that?
He's already got some extremely curly hair anyway.
True. I'm just saying, like, look at that damn hair, like, jeez.
Paper. That's another thing too. You think about it being on the water, like paper, dirt, plants, anything that you take for granted. Just turn on the faucet to get water.
I'm not sure why paper would have any significance to them. Again, after all that time, it would have no significance.
Yeah, why would you want?
To him, it kind of does, but yeah, I don't know. Unless they would use it for to sell it to.
What would you do with it? I guess
trade it to people that it actually matters to. I
equivalent
suppose.
of a Funko Pop, I guess, or something. But, it's a collector's. It's a collectible.
Do they have a Funko Pop of
Waterworld?
Now I gotta look.
Well,
check,
I don't
yeah.
know if they got a Funko Pop, but I do know Davina has asked about the extended version. There was a, I think it was a Blu-ray released not too many years ago
Arrow, yeah.
with the Ulysses cut. So
Actually, if you buy the 4K version now, it comes with the Ulysses cut.
There you go.
Right?
But otherwise, you can get it from the Arrow Special Edition if you want all the special features. But yeah.
I think this extended version's the way to go, but I think it really describes the characters a lot better and opens it up more. And like Tom was saying, it has a lot more background. And do you actually, in the original cut, does it actually show that it's Mount Everest, or did they cut that?
No, that's added in this version. It's pretty much said from the like. I wish they would have cut out that stupid intro in the beginning of this, because that was only added in the theatrical cut because it was from the trailer.
Okay.
Where it goes hundreds of years in the future, the Earth has been covered in water. You weren't supposed to know it was Earth. That was the whole catch, right? Like, again, it was a little less obvious by the time they got to this version, so they just said "fuck it" and tossed that out the window.
I don't know if I don't think in the theatrical cut that it's explicitly said or that it's Everest or in any way.
No, it isn't. So that's what I'm saying. They don't find that place.
I was trying to remember.
It's just
it's
piece
just
of dry
land.
land.
Yeah, it's just a piece of dry land.
I think we all assumed it was, or at least a very tall peak of some
It cuts out a lot of that last bit, and then the whole part where he gets named and shit. It all cuts that all out. He just leaves. That's the
because without these, and if you mentioned earlier, I apologize, Tom, but just I guess for those who are tuning in. They just call him the Mariner in the theatrical cut, but he's actually referred to as Ulysses in the
she gives him a name,
Ulysses cut. Yes. And real quick,
does he know his name, or he just won't tell anyone his name?
He doesn't have a name.
Yeah, he doesn't have one.
Well, that's the thing is that's what
crazy,
though.
I mean, you couldn't be out on the ocean as a 5-year-old kid. I mean, you got to have some parents raising you, right? I mean,
there's got to be some history of parents. Somewhere.
Well, that's what I was saying. He's like an evolution of whatever. So his parents were probably murdered or destroyed, because you see how people react to him as a mutant the moment they realize he's a mutant.
Kill him
so. Which is
something great to have around. He could go fishing, right? I mean, he's Aquaman, right? You know, he can go fishing in the water, fish all
like,
day.
You catch shit with that fucking rod, you know? He's like,
yeah, Marin, I've dropped my keys in the water. Could you go get them?
I'm leaning on good old Stonehopper. I don't know where anyone else is at, but for me, it's all about Stonehop. So to answer your question quickly,
clean
Brian.
Hopper, clean. I like more of his stuff when he's clean.
Okay.
I love classic Hopper, but I think he's a much stronger, concentrated actor in his later years.
Mark, you gotta get a Waterworld toy.
I should have printed some 3D printed.
I wonder what they're worth now.
Yo, so I
got mine. It's limited edition.
So I want to let you guys know, when I was looking for the, watching some of these deleted scenes before I ended up just caving to the movie, which thank you, Tom, for getting us that. By the way, but when I was just looking at some of the deleted scenes on YouTube, originally I was watching this thing. I'm like, it says it's Waterworld, and it says it's deleted scenes. This doesn't look like it's from the movie, and I kept watching anyways. And then I relook at the caption, and then I realized it was cutscenes from the computer game based on Waterworld. The cutscenes. I was like, wow, because I'm watching, I'm like, man, this looks really weird. This doesn't look like scenes from the movie. This looks like something from like a 1990s like kindergarten movie that they put on the box TV that they wheel in to the classroom. You know where they always put on those weird like 90s 3D movies? That's what it looks like watching the Waterworld computer game. Let me get rid of this off the screen, folks. Waterworld toys from Kenner, 1995. See, we've been all over the Deacon.
Look at that. Oh,
Deacon.
the Deacon.
Oh, I have one here that's $12.99 right now. Not going for much.
No, bro.
No.
Is it
These probably were not hot at all.
No, it's just
look at this motorized surfboard action figure, man. I don't want to play a video because it's too, don't want to get. Look at that. Oh, they had the trimarine. Oh man, how did I not
they
collect
a lot of
these?
shit then? Yeah.
Because that boat is cool. I mean, I just love that scene where he goes, "You won't get away with your sails down."
Interceptor, though, how fast it is.
Yeah. Yeah, trimarans are really fast. If you ever sailed one, I mean, they fly. I mean, they're not easy to sail in terms of tacking, but yeah, those suckers are great.
Hot
Yeah.
Toys worthy.
Waterworld board game.
Waterworld toys board. Oh man, a board. Dude, see, that's how confident that they were that this movie was going to do good. That they were committed to it. They were like, we're going to do everything: the figures, the game, the video.
Well, not that there wasn't a monopoly, so
yeah.
They're on sale. You can tell there.
They should have
$5.
Should have marketed like a Waterworld hot tub or something like that. You know?
Yeah, see, this here is probably why the movie didn't go anywhere. It's more so because if the toys would have sold, that kind of a thing, then maybe they would have kept going. But
the toys look really dumb.
Yeah, it just wasn't.
They look bad. Yeah, I'll see. I'll
it didn't capture. You had this.
That
Batman
awful.
came out the
Look
same
at that
year.
Helen. Dude, look at the photos on the right side of Helen. That is one terrible toy.
It's the butt.
It is.
Nobody.
You guys got to remember. You guys got to remember too that Batman was a big movie that year. Like as far as kids go,
that's all the toys went.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's all kids want was Batman Forever.
I was getting those Batman Forever glasses because that's when back in the day when when kids could go out without their parents and on their own. I would go to McDonald's that lived down the street from me. I'd go get those new Batman Forever glasses that they were selling at McDonald's.
Yep.
I remember I had my Riddler glass, and you had that was it R. Kelly song that was playing everywhere you went to promote Batman Forever?
I got all those glasses in my kitchen. Still using them.
Oh, do you really, dude?
It was Seal.
Wasn't that
It was
song
Seal.
called Waterworld?
Seal. Sorry, Seal.
Seal.
I
Seal.
mistaked it too. Same shit.
Look how cool
Well,
his
one
boat
has
is. That's a
Lucas.
wild toy.
Oh, see now that okay. I like that. I do like that one set.
That ship is. Look at
Yeah,
that.
I
That's
do like
cool.
the ship. I do like the ship. The figures are terrible, but the ship is nice.
Yeah.
I noticed
So
all
go
the
out and
figures have shoes and boots on too, which is stupid because most of them do not in the actual movie.
Yeah, it's like nice boots you got there. Yeah.
Nord. Oh,
Three
yeah,
for
that was
$5.
his name.
Yeah,
European
look,
metalhead
3 for
guy.
$5 in KB.
Oh yeah, cat. That was
Oh, that's
KB's
even
first-
cheap for KB, man. That's bad. That's why this movie failed right there. It just didn't connect with the kids.
The merchandising didn't go. Yeah.
Oh, see, she got her haircut. She got her dues for talking smack. Man, that is a really
You talk too much.
You talk too much.
Oh, there's a
Well, I mean,
Waterworld
can you
pinball
imagine,
machine.
like being by yourself for like a year at a time, and then you got two people on the boat with you who just talk a normal amount, and you're just like,
Two women.
shut the fuck up.
That's another reason
Let's
this
not
movie's
forget it's two
toxic. It's
women.
saying movies the women talk too much,
See,
right?
that's why if this would have been a great movie if Mad Mardigan was in Mariner's position. Can you imagine if Mad was Mariner?
Oh, Matt is basically the Mariner. He's just like, shut the fuck up. You ruin everything.
Oh, Mad. Where are
What
you?
if fish people need with the raft? And
Mad,
Mariner could have survived the Titanic too. He wouldn't have needed to fit on that big, huge door.
Yeah. Fucking Jack and Rose.
Might have still would have froze to death though.
Yeah, Jack and Rose. Mm-hmm. Dude, there's a pinball machine. Oh my
I'll look it up. Yep.
Wow, they were all in on this movie. They
Hell
really
yeah, they were.
Oh,
I mean, again,
great.
it was a big summer flick. Like it had too much competition with Batman Forever and Die Hard, but it didn't fail though.
So who wants to know the quote that Kevin Reynolds before they had another falling out? Because they had a falling out prior to this movie, but then they had a falling out after this movie because apparently Reynolds and Costner just do not get along. But there was a quote that Mr. Reynolds said about Kevin Costner. And it was in quote, Kevin Costner should only star in movies he directs. That way he can work with his favorite actor and favorite director. Shots fired.
Which is funny considering he probably did direct a third of the movie.
I think that
he only spent $20 million.
I think, Nick, when they split I think only one of them should be able to keep the name Kevin. Someone should have had to give the name up.
Well, we know
Who's going to get custody?
Reynolds.
Who's going to get custody of the name Kevin?
Yeah. Custody for
Sure as fuck ain't gonna be Reynolds. He ain't
It's
gonna
not
win
going to
that
be
fight.
Reynolds.
Well,
I
they
love
did-
pinball, and this looks like a great game. Oh, there's a Batman.
Oh yeah, Batman one
right next to it. Yep.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I've never been a huge Costner fan. I've never hated him. I mean, I've kind of come to a more of a, you know, appreciation him, especially after he's been on Yellowstone and shit now. But
Great on Yellowstone, yeah.
and you know, just not just that, but like, you know, he harkens back, and you go back and look at his movies. It's like this dude was kind of like the next Clint Eastwood in a way.
They wanted him to be big. They did. It's clear that
Well, it's
there
not
was a
just
push
that, but
from
like
them.
you, even now to this day, he still stands for everything that makes men men, right?
Mhm.
And it was the same thing that was true then. He has
Field of
not
Dreams.
changed in the same amount of time. Exactly. He's made so many movies that guys who love movies love.
Well, isn't
Like-
that interesting you say that though, Tom? Because one of his best ever movies was the Clint Eastwood directed Perfect World.
That's
A perfect
another
one.
good one.
That was a
Costner
weird
was
fucking movie, too.
brilliant in that. That was Costner's best movie, almost. I think.
I mean,
Directed by
I'm not
Clint
going to
Eastwood.
say that they have a comparative career at this point, but I mean, at one point, I think Kevin could have been, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but obviously Eastwood saw something in him for that movie.
Even
has in him.
though the story's not completely accurate, I do like him as Elliot Ness.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
thing.
good in
There's
that,
not
yeah.
too many movies he's made that I have not liked or that he's in or whatever, you know, like,
Yeah, I was always into him as Elliot Ness. Maybe obviously it helps. I grew up around
or at least
that.
aren't even entertaining in a bad way.
Oh yeah, no, he's got a great body of work. That's absolutely undeniable.
Unless you're going somewhere else.
Postman sucks though. Postman
Yeah,
sucks. And
well,
that's got
that's
some of
what
the
I mean.
worst CGI, some of the worst CGI ever in the end of
Oh,
that movie.
I forgot about
If you
that
watch
one.
it.
Field of Dreams.
Well,
Yeah,
that's what you
Field of
just
Dreams was
mentioned. Field of
amazing.
Dreams. Well, between Field of
Oh.
Dreams and Dances with Wolves, those are two movies that
Yeah.
your dad loves.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I love me Field of
Tatanka.
Dreams. I actually, speaking of Field of Dreams, I think originally in 2020 there was supposed to be a game at the actual, Field of Dreams field.
They did play a game there. Yeah, they did play
But-
there. Yeah.
So we were supposed
Last
to
year,
originally get
MLB did
tickets.
it.
We were supposed to originally have tickets to it, but then when the
Stuff
unknown
happened.
thing happened, we lost track of doing that. But I remember wanting to do it because I remember loving that movie. Between that or 8 Men Out, and I'd say Major League, those are my three baseball movies. Because obviously Major League for the comedy, but as far as like serious storytelling, and then of course Sandlot too for the nostalgia. But as far as like serious drama stories, those two were it. Field of Dreams and 8 Men Out. Absolutely freaking awesome flicks. Love those two, both of them for real. So I had some super chats here. Presto Bruno for $5 says, didn't know there was an extended cut of Waterworld. I'm getting it right now. The smoker one.
Hell yeah, buddy.
Thank you for $5, sir. And then Joe's Atmosphere. How you doing, Joe? For $1.99 says, not for sale. Not for sale.
Not for sale. Not for sale. Not
How
for
you doing,
sale.
Joe? And yes, rest in peace, Ray
Everything's for
Liotta.
sale.
Oh
The
man.
one thing that makes sense, they had these, excuse me, sharks, but they never did anything with it in the scene. Like the sharks were there. Is that big monster? And then there was no payoff for that. It's like, what's
Oh,
going on?
those aren't the sharks. Those are the smokers.
Yeah, they're like on their
Oh.
little jet skis upside down or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah. They're
what do I
sneaking
know?
in. Yeah.
Oh, I thought those were sharks.
That's the only thing that drives me nuts about this scene is like, why the
Thank
fuck are you taking her under to see the city when the fucking smokers
Yeah.
are not that far back there?
That was
Like
stupid.
it's set up for this specific bit, and it's like, really?
Yeah,
This
you
is
would
how
keep
they
going.
made the
You'd never
plot
stop.
advance. This is how they made the plot
Pretty
advance.
much.
Yeah.
That's really all that it was. And also they needed a reason to have a crutch to be vulnerable. So that way Deacon can take Ilona. That was like, we need something to make it easier for him to kidnap her. Oh, fuck it. Have them go down there into the water, look at the ocean and find the old buildings. It'll be fine. It'll work out.
But he would have never done that at that point
See,
when they were
I
that
can
close
already
behind him.
hear the critical drinker review on this. Just go down the water, keep the girl on guard, and it'll be fine. I can already hear him saying that.
And how those
Oh.
smokers hanging underwater? They had some kind of way to breathe, I guess, or there was a tube they're breathing through, or I mean, they can't. They're not all. Are they mutants? Or they? I mean, I know you said they didn't make the mutants in this version, or for the most part in this version. But I mean, it's not easy to hang out upside down underwater, even if you're trying to snorkel that long. But I guess like shouldn't ask those questions. I guess, but
how dare you, Mark? What the fuck is wrong
yeah,
with you?
come
Asking
on.
fucking
Stop asking
questions.
That's
logical
my
questions.
problem. I watch movies these days and I ask questions I shouldn't ask. Like we were watching that new Jonah Hill movie on Netflix like 2 nights ago.
Okay.
And I'm like, why is he lying all the time? Like the whole movie. I'm just like, but I'm like, and I look at Shander and I'm like, I can't sit and watch a movie anymore without just asking these questions. I'm just like, I used to be able to just enjoy a movie for a movie, but now I just can't. It's harder now.
It's harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. He would be able to he should be able to take the like fish don't drink, right? So if he's got gills, he shouldn't have to drink water, right? But
right.
yeah.
I mean,
they needed a reason for him to fucking mac it out with her. So they made it this scene. Once again, things that need to be convenient.
Like, there's no better time to get it on than on the smoking wreckage of your ship. When all hope is lost.
Yeah, these next couple scenes are the most poorly timed shit in the movie. Like this is a lot of the what the fuck moments of the movie.
Yeah, but if you're stuck on the Dorothy Rose, you might as well go down, right? And, before you die, right? go out with a bang.
The scene we were talking about earlier, but yeah.
But,
I like this scene with Deacon because once again, the fact that he's being the
Church
nice one of all them, or trying to put on the act of being nice, and his facial expressions in all these scenes are absolutely amazing. He is quite the eye opener. He knows his eyes. I feel like his eyes just bulge with every scene.
Yeah.
Well, look at those damn eyes. For freaking what the fuck, Richard? What about the UNS? Oh yeah, never mind. Never mind.
We're about to die here.
Why'd you take me? Because you really want me. That sounds like some Jerry Springer shit. Matt would just like because you're a woman. That would have been Mad Mardigan's line.
I guess there was another script. There was like one script called for a second moon to appear in the sky.
Yeah.
And they said that basically imitating that the cataclysm was created by gravity and rather than warming. But I think people would just figure they were on a different planet. I don't think
I think that was part of that script idea too, was that it was supposed to trick people into thinking it was a different planet. Yeah.
Thank you, Tom.
23 flavors of Nick Weiser. I think Sherry went a little too quick on that one.
Sherry, this is absolutely
Waterworld.
I'm crying right
now.
Waterworld would have less flavors, okay? You can't get all 32 flavors.
Would have less. That's true.
They'd have less flavors.
Thank you, Sherry. That is absolutely freaking awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, kelp and seaweed. That's all you got.
And I love how these guys are creating like a whole new, just a little.
They got a little raft there. Yep.
So fucking desperate, but yeah. Because this is the part I was talking about earlier that's cut a little differently in the theatrical cut. He just decides he's going to go after her, and they cut out a lot of this him going back and forth stuff.
That was a nice scene, yeah, where he protects the ships here, and he comes back. So it actually worked really well, I thought. Yep.
It's that stuff's in the other version, but the way it's cut in the other version, he doesn't go back and forth. He figures out right away before they leave, before the guy shows up. They cut it differently. They cut the shots where he gets all the stuff from inside the boat into the other shot before the other guy shows up, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. So like before they even get picked up, he's kind of already realized, oh, she's seen real land.
She knows land. Okay.
Yeah. So at that point, when they get to this, it's just him like getting supplies and everything, and they're already cutting to the argument scene, and then the guys show up and all that kind of stuff. And I think,
so it's
or maybe
tighter,
they're not. Yeah. Actually, no, that doesn't even. No, that's cut out of that. You're right. That's cut out of that completely. He just shows up in a fucking. Because I remember asking myself that. I'm wondering where he got that ski jet from, because I don't think they show that in the theatrical cut. He just shows up with the ski jet.
Seeing
this picture. Yeah, seeing this pictures there. Yeah.
Like
Go
he
ahead,
has that
Dustin.
one piece of paper and he's bartering and getting all those chits with it, and then all of a sudden he's just got just unlimited supply of magazines.
I like how with his supplies of magazines, those pieces, those super thin pieces of paper, survived all that time underwater. National Geographic looks like he just got his copy wet yesterday.
Well, it technically did just get wet because he had it up. His
No,
thing, but who knows where he got it
obviously.
from to begin with.
But why was he saving all the National Geographics for the pictures of land or the pictures of something else?
The
You
reason
guys
why
are too
we
young.
looked
You
at him in
haven't
the
you haven't
second
seen
grade, okay?
National.
Well,
you
and it's
haven't-
interesting because in the extended cut they do show more of it, because in the other version he just pulls them out and they're there, right? Like in this version he actually checks out the other picture first earlier on in the movie that part's cut out, where he sees the family picture, and he goes and he pulls them out and it establishes that he has them already, and he's kind of looking at it and he sees a family of indigenous tribe getting their picture taken. So he draws the parallel
Oh, that's
between the
right,
picture,
the
the little
shit,
thing that she drew, and then again he comes back with the trees. But see, it's cut in the other version to where it just that happens while they're still on the boat, and then it cuts to this stuff here, like right around here in this region.
I did not need Action Com to say toilet paper because then I got a Kevin Costner toilet paper image in my head that I did not.
Yeah,
need.
that's a good question. Where they? Yeah,
They
but I
use
suppose they don't-
shells.
Man, they just
I don't
They use
suppose they
shells.
poop
They
a
use
lot.
shells.
To be honest, they probably don't poop a lot.
they just probably dunk in the water and poop, and then just kind of let
Yeah,
the
not
fish
only that,
dribble
yeah,
out.
you just kind of, yeah.
He just
Flying
hangs off
over
the back of the
swim.
catamaran with his arse in the water.
Yeah.
You know that thing that they throw all the people in that he gets
lets
thrown
his
into
ass-
the cage? That's where they shit.
Are you
That's
saying he lets
plastic.
his ass dry off like he jumps in the water?
I'm probably not kidding, to be honest.
He kind of
with
does
you.
like a hover technique. He does a hover technique, and then lets his ass dry
This
off.
is a funny joke here too. The Captain Joey, they're surprised they got this through because this is in the
You had to get
theatrical
this
cut
through.
too.
They must have had to pay him some money, or they can just use.
I don't
know.
know, but they managed to pull it
Public
off.
figure. Yeah, after centuries of
Culture.
Oh, if
shame.
he's a public figure, yeah, that's right. They can use it
Yeah.
then. They were talking about the studio. They were surprised they got it through. Like they weren't even sure if they were going to be able to use the Exxon Valdez. Like, yeah.
That's why it's called the poop deck. Yep.
Oh.
No, I honestly think that pit where they put the dead bodies and tried to put Kevin Costner in, I think that's literally where they poop.
That's
Well, they would have to. They need fertilizer for
Yeah.
food. So, yeah.
That was a Soylent Green pit.
Soylent Green. That
I
was
could be
literally
wrong,
green.
but yeah.
Yeah.
People.
It's people.
And how do you
Bush
row?
might be right. I don't know.
How do you row the Exxon Valdez? Right, Dustin. How do you get a bunch of people with enough power to actually row the Exxon Valdez? You know how many tons? What's the tonnage of the
then-
Exxon Valdez?
So hold on.
Whoa! Like you're like it's like what? It's like what that metal festival, the 70,000 tons of metal
Yeah,
festival.
70K. Yeah.
So I mean, that's a small cruise ship compared to like this big Navy ship, and like or big oil tanker. That's probably like 4 to 6 cruise ships. It's gonna take. It gets a centimeter per gallon of diesel.
Yeah, and they're gonna row, and they're gonna row it. Row it.
You're
somewhere.
gonna row right into a hernia.
Yeah.
So okay.
That's one thing,
Boosh.
Dustin, that would be plentiful in that world would be hernias.
By Boosh's
Yeah.
logic, if everyone's gonna sink anyway, can you imagine how bad when the Mariner and Helen fucked, how bad that had to have smelled?
Like success, victory. You know how long it had been? He was probably a virgin.
That's
Look at
true.
Hopper's face there.
Hopper's face looked like he was.
He
the
loved
virgin.
realization
all
that the
3
Mariner was a
seconds of
virgin.
it.
Well, he's probably a virgin too.
I saw the land, and I saw
That's all
something
dudes
else.
on his boat.
He saw the mountains.
Oh damn!
See, now this is all added here because he doesn't go up and come back down. In the other version, he just shows up in the ramp scene. Like that's the other thing is just kind of happens. Yeah, it's just, this gets chopped up quite a bit.
And then this is. This
I
is
can't believe
funny
we're
'cause
this
they
far
were-
into the movie already, though.
Yeah, I went quick on this. When they kill the buddy in there, they don't even recognize. They don't care. They don't know
That's
who he
added
is. They're
too,
like,
because in the other version he just kills him, and then it cuts to the next bit where he's kind of sneaking around.
He
And
killed
see,
Smitty. I
to
got a
my
promotion.
this is once
Then
again
they're
to
arguing
my.
over who's boss.
I love this scene because you get to see the Mariner just go all out and kick. Oh shit! Sorry, kick a lot of ass, and he does a good job of it too. Like Kevin Costner does feel like a
There's some great
believable action hero.
Well,
in
it's pretty
this
much your
scene.
Mad Max movie, right? Like this is the
Yeah.
end where the reluctant hero
Euro-
goes into action. Yeah.
But he's not an action fic. I mean, he's just not to me. Like, I mean, that's not
Go
why
ahead.
Wyatt. I mean, I don't know why. I think Wyatt Earp failed because it came
Could
out
be.
too close to Tombstone.
Could
But
That's right. The Dolphins. Well said, Pope. Well said.
Actually, I heard the Dolphins are into that Pope, so
oh, Dolphins are touching back.
they're
man.
very, very rapey.
Yeah.
We're late enough in the show. I think I can say that. So it's true. It's a fact. Look it up. It's a scientific fact. Dolphins
Yeah,
are
like
very.
when you
very
go,
rapey.
like if you go and you swim with the dolphins, they tell you specifically not to touch them where their underwear would cover, because they will touch back.
And sometimes when women are like at certain points of their lives, let's say, they jump right on them.
Oh my god!
That never
Do tell
happened
us
to
more,
me.
Tom. Do tell us more.
Oh, you can find the videos. They're out there. In fact, there's a very famous King of the Hill episode based on that.
So,
Where,
Tom, Jacques Cousteau Connors here.
Where that's why what's his face? Hank is not he doesn't like to swim or whatever because he got raped by a dolphin.
Oh!
The
Damn it,
worst thing
Bobby.
is that he enjoyed it.
Oh damn!
Yeah, dolphins are sex.
There's that bottle of Jack Daniels I spoke of. How does
200-year-old
that
bottle of Jack.
Well, they all have some booze, but as you see, like he's even like mixing in the one scene with like he's mixing the vodka with the water to like so that he doesn't know that he was drinking out of it and shit. So
Yeah.
I'm sure they're limited, but that's the other thing is they must have had a bunch of cigarettes and booze on these boats they kept finding and stuff. It's the only thing that makes sense, but after 500 years, I doubt a lot of this shit would have lasted in the salt sea air and all that shit.
Yeah, I mean, because cigarettes would have basically just kind of disintegrated, been like stalely disgusting. Like you'd be
Yeah.
just
Yeah, and you can't quite make them without tobacco and shit. So like, yeah,
there's
like,
nowhere to grow it.
Oh damn!
that was like
Yeah,
a
fine, North
simulator.
Carolina.
I just now what
we go.
was the
Toxic love.
theatrical rating for this, Tom? What was the
PG-13.
Was it PG? Because there are some scenes that definitely do push the envelope as far as the violence goes, because he does get some brutal kills, and it's
Well,
awesome
back then,
to watch.
PG-13, you could get away with a lot of shit.
That guy
there was
had
a
it right.
time.
Stroke. He's going to have a stroke if he keeps.
Yeah, there was a time when you could get away with F words and tits in PG-13 as long as it wasn't in a sexual situation and stuff
Because
like
I
that.
remember it with PG.
Yeah.
I did remember
Oh,
it
and
with
PG
PG
too, yeah. Remember I told the story Clash of the Titans when the girl in the
Oh
temple
yeah, even
walks
in
out?
PG they used to be able to get away with it. Yeah.
My mom was like trying to cover all her eyes. She's like, it's like I'm so that was so horrific. I'm very sorry.
Well, PG used to be that kind of catch-all between G and R, really.
Yeah.
And then that's where certain movies like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I mean, Gremlins came out in '84 specifically, and Spielberg was already kind of lobbying for a PG-14 rating kind of thing. And I don't know if the UK already had the different rating system already at that point or not, but
I don't remember.
yeah, but at that point they decided, we need something that's kind of in the middle, and it was used well for the first decade or so that it existed. Then, right around this time is where it started to get shit. You started changing, and it's like they started taming down certain things, but allowing other things a little bit more, and it's just
now it's like a movie cash grab if it's PG-13, where obviously it would be a movie that should be rated R, because they just want people to be able to go see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have.
When you have Megan is a great example recently of a movie that was started out as an R-rated movie, but as soon as they realized it was a TikTok phenomenon, they cut it down to PG-13 so that the kids could go see it. Sorry.
Well, how did
No,
that
no,
become
no,
a
you're
TikTok
right.
phenomenon? I'm not
Because of the
on
dance
TikTok.
scenes.
Something like a
We're
phenomenon.
talking on Wednesday or talking Megan?
Megan.
Megan. I haven't seen
that's
Megan
the
yet.
robot one?
Yeah,
or
the robot one, yeah.
Oh, so there's a dance scene in that, I guess? Or
Yeah, she does this like dance from like, what is it, Fortnite or something like that in the movie.
Oh,
So
okay,
you got-
so that became a TikTok thing.
Ah, so that's where the whole
Yeah.
TikTok of that came in. I was wondering. I never really looked into it, but okay, it makes a whole lot.
Oh,
of
that was
sense
from the.
now.
So they remixed it, or they saw that was in the trailer, so they said, "Oh, let's make it PG."
It became popular from the after the trailer because it showed it in the trailer. Because when the
Okay.
first trailer came out, I don't think it was rated yet. And then when the sensation took off, Universal even encouraged people to do it and stuff like they did with Minions and other things before. Because Universal actually likes people to do free advertising for them, unlike Disney. So like at that point they're like, yeah, fucking do it. And they had like I'm showing up at like football games and everything like that. It's like in like 4 or 5 of them at a time and shit, doing synchronized dances and shit. It was all over the place. It still kind of is, but I mean, sadly, it just kind of got snuffed out by Avatar. But
Yeah, but isn't that a movie about a psychotic robotic doll that starts to kill
but people love shit like that.
Yeah,
Let's
no,
make the kids-
Chucky
let's
is
make the
still
kids all
around.
dance to
Chucky
it.
is
Yeah,
getting a
Chucky.
season 3, I think. So yeah,
That
Yeah,
TV show
it
is
is.
doing well, right? Yeah.
I haven't seen the
No.
second season yet, but the first one was okay.
Wait, there's an
I want
actor in
to
the TV
add.
show?
Go ahead.
What was that?
Dustin?
Well, I was just I didn't realize there was a Chucky TV series.
Yeah, believe it
I
or
don't
not,
know, I
yes. And not only is there a TV series, it has all the cast that lives that's still alive pretty much back.
All right, Red Shirt, I see your comment, and I know if
It's
you're
like
on
the
panel-
Cobra Kai of horror shows.
Is it really?
The first season was
Wow.
pretty good. It's got the second season has had some issues so far. I watched the first episode and I backed out because the problem is they have 2 of the main characters are 2 younger gay characters, and it was
Okay.
fine in the first season, and then all of a sudden the first episode just dwelled all on their relationship, and I'm like, who fucking cares? Even if they were a straight couple, I'd be like, move the fuck on. This is soap opera bullshit. Who cares? Like, I want to see Chucky kill somebody. Like,
That's why we watch those movies. We don't even care for even the straight.
I don't give a shit. Just get to Chucky. Like yeah.
Okay, I grew up being being a Spider-Man fan. Honestly, it's like, yeah, it's cool that Peter Parker is with Mary Jane Watson, but ultimately at the end of the day, I don't care about that shit. I want to see Peter Parker knock the shit out of the Green Goblin or Dr. Octopus. If Mary Jane just happens to be the damsel in distress, okay, but I want to see Spider-Man womp the shit out of one of them, or one of them try to go out there as Ant-Man, he lays a real beating down to like Wilson Fisk or something. Like, it's about fucking heroes being heroes. Then the romance, that's just supposed to be side stuff. We'll just say side stuff. But Red Shirt,
That's what I'm saying. Like when it was more of the side stuff in the first season, I was fine with it.
oh yeah. Richard would have mentioned this if he was still on, so I'm going to mention it. He says, another BS. Yes, I know it's a BS moment, and I agree, but you know what? I'm going to roll with it because it adds some way. Because here's the thing. Most protagonists, when they see like a bad guy who's got like the hostage type of thing, most heroes are usually bluffing when they do things because they're trying to get the villain to bend a little. And he just fucking went for it anyway, which makes it badass. And because you're just rolling with the ridiculousness of this movie, I can totally forgive it. And once again, I know it doesn't make sense, and yes, it is absolutely bullshit, but I can roll with it because it turns into this whole kick-ass action sequences where he's killing these sons of bitches left and right.
Car driving in the tanker.
Yeah, the car driving in the
It's like a Mad Max scene.
So imagine going up and down
Doesn't
the
even have
boat.
tires.
No tires. The guy's like, I always wanted
does
to
it
drive
not?
this thing. No, there's no tires. Tires are gone. They rotted away after 200 years. Yeah, but the car still works.
Yeah.
I just looked it up, Tom, and this was a 12 in the UK, 12 ratings. So 12
yeah, it's
and
about the
over.
equivalent. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not that strenuous a rating. I mean,
No, but
I mean,
it's funny enough is the TV version you guys got in the UK was much more risque than the one here. That's where some of the scenes were taken from, but yeah. But actually, I guess one of the boats still exists from this movie.
The Catamaran, yeah.
Yeah, one of the 2 that they built.
Nice.
It obviously is owned by a private owner now, but yeah.
What about the Exxon Valdez?
Nice.
No, that was a built set that they made. But the
What
real
happened to
one,
the Exxon Valdez? What happened to that?
I have no idea what happened to the
Oh,
one.
thinker.
Hold up. What
Still
happened
out
to
there
our
somewhere.
backdrop?
I'm sure somebody will know in the chat.
The Exxon Valdez,
Yeah.
All right,
like
there
the
we
real
go.
one,
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
it spilled crude oil all over the place.
Well, that I know, but did they
where
decommission
is
it
it now?
afterwards? But where is it
Did you
now?
just
Yeah.
sink it?
I don't
know. It's a good question.
Someone will let us know in the chat. I'm sure we got a ton of people watching.
They might have just scrapped it.
We
could have just scrapped it for all we know. I don't know.
Or changed the name, right? I mean,
yeah, that's true. Fixed it and changed the name.
The new Carnival cruise ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
I was gonna say, he turns into the action here. He turns into the action hero here. He's kind of like an Rambo kind.
This guy gets a second death in the extended cut too, because this I don't think this is in the theatrical cut from my memory. He dies in the car in the theatrical cut.
Weird when he says Enola, like Enola. I to me, all I hear is alone. It's just like it's just such an awkward phrase.
Well, then there's that series on Netflix, Enola Holmes. There's 2 movies of that.
Alone Holmes. Yep. Yeah, that sounds really weird.
That's the Millie Bobby Brown is much better detective than Sherlock.
Yeah.
With
that Cavill.
So the second one's pretty good. I saw the second one.
They're not bad watches.
Yeah.
Just remind everyone that you're still watching Toxic Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah. Always gotta have the men involved. Always gotta have the men. Always.
That scene was awesome, God.
No,
that's a great practical stunt here. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a badass setup he does with the hook and going down the cable. I thought that was cool. I mean, it's convenient the way it was all happened to be there, but it was damn cool. Like, and that's the thing. It's one of those. Don't question the logic. Just go with it. Have fun with the moment. Enjoy it. There's obviously a lot of shit about this that doesn't add up, A or B. When it does, it's really convenient. I will be the first to concede that. But it's a popcorn flick, ultimately.
So apparently the Exxon Valdez was eventually taken to a dry dock in San Diego. So I don't know what happened after that, but it didn't stay on the reef that it foundered on. They eventually took it off and somehow got it back to where it was built in San Diego. So
thank you, Sanders.
Same. It became an ore transport. Yep.
There you go. Yeah. And another thing about Enola, and this was said by the author or the writer of the movie, he said not only is it alone spelled backwards, but Enola is also a Native American name, which in some tribes means solitary, but there's some people that have disputed that, but he took it from whatever he got it from, that's what it meant. So that was another reason why he picked this. So basically it means alone in Cherokee or whatever, supposedly.
Alone Holmes. That just said
there's some people who have
sounds bad.
Argued about that.
How convenient would that be?
I don't know. I think it's bullshit. I think the writer actually found something that said that, but I think it's bullshit because you have a few people that are of Indian descent that contest it. So yeah.
Well, I would not know. I am no expert.
But at that time when he was writing this shit in 86, 87, whatever, like he didn't have the internet to go check shit out.
Yep.
You know.
It's true. Nowadays we find out everything so instantly. And now this is one of the scenes I feel like doesn't get enough credit for, because you would think, okay, this seems like a very convenient victory. Everything went fine. But Deacon has one last, ace up his sleeve, and he makes it feel like he could actually do it. And you're like, oh, damn, shit, he got the drop on her. Literal drop on her right there.
Yeah, he's got a good line coming up.
Mariner does his business again to go back again. And how that plays off is even better than what he would have originally gotten. I thought, damn, that's a hell of a way to have them all, have a head-on collision with each other. Hell of a way to go.
He's like St. Joe, hole in one.
Yeah, St. Joe.
Yeah, to reference the whole golf thing.
Yeah.
If I can't have Trailland, no one will. Yeah.
Oh.
How the heck do they run this? The lighter than air. How is that float? And they made helium. I don't see a hot air balloon there where they're like burning stuff. It's like, and then he's got a motor running with propellers. I mean, pushing the craft.
He may have figured out some way of making helium of some type, maybe, because he's got a bunch of books and stuff. When you see his helium,
isn't helium pretty tough to make? I mean,
maybe I don't know.
Wouldn't you
I
do a
don't
hot
know.
air balloon? But I don't know. I guess
Maybe he
shouldn't
found a
have-
tank of it. Who knows? I don't know. They don't really explain that. That's a good question, though. Again, once you start asking questions about this movie, the whole fucking
Yeah,
thing
where's
breaks down in
Dustin?
logic.
Dustin and me are like, yeah.
Everything breaks down in logic of this movie. And you even got the Die Hard blow up jump here thing going.
Yeah, there's some
Bungee
composting
cord.
there, right? Yeah, yeah. Oh, they found a Taco Bell freighter. Methane said bullshit.
I could have used some hydrogen, like Action Chicom said, I guess. I don't know.
Ooh, this is a good comment here from Pinochet's Helicopter Tours. Is Waterworld better if you consider it unofficially Mad Max 4? Yes and no. And this is where my argument. Yes, and the fact that it's unofficial, no, because you don't top the Mel Gibson, Road Warrior, and what was it, Thunderdome? Third one?
It's one of
Thunderdome?
the best of the ripoffs, let's
But
say.
yeah,
especially,
that's another thing. It's one of the better ripoffs too, which helps with the unofficial.
because it's not
label.
like the writer flat out has admitted that was his pure.
Would have been funny if they'd got to
inspiration.
dry land and found Mel Gibson was there, though.
Freedom.
Look, he's sitting in his car. That
You
interceptor
ain't
or
getting none
whatever.
of my gasoline.
Yeah, fuck off out of here. Straight.
So okay, see, Mel Gibson just wanted gasoline, and Deacon just wanted to play golf. What amazing
And
motivation!
all the Mariner wants is hydro.
And the Mariner wants
So-
hydro.
So
What-
the next thing is they're all thinking, when we get to this dry land, who's going to get to repopulate it with Jean?
Yeah. Well, she gives him this look here, like
That's right.
I
That's what
think
she
that
gives
another
it a
thing left
water.
out was she's probably knocked up from that scene they had sex too.
said. Probably, yeah.
Yeah, he
Oh, we could've gotten a
he
sequel,
gave
yeah.
her the diddly. That's for sure. He definitely gave her the diddly. Look
He's
at those
just thinking-
eyes.
He's
Son
thinking,
of
there's
a
lunch.
Mariner.
There's
Waterworld
lunch
too.
right there. Lunch.
Yeah.
Lunch.
Never seen a bird before, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Oh damn!
Who wants to be
I've
the
eaten
first
this whole
person to
time.
die from salmonella because we didn't fucking cook it first?
You know, also another thing that this gets great, especially with the extended cut, like when you actually see the land, it does make you feel like you're transitioning with them in the movie. At least that's what I got from me. It's just like,
Yeah, it doesn't
holy
jump
crap,
pretty
I
quick.
feel like I'm on land now.
Well,
with
this
that, because
here
you're
is
so
like
used
the
to being
last-
on water dominantly in this
This is-
entire movie.
Yeah, this part here is like literally the last few minutes tacked onto the theatrical cut to where it does feel a little bit more breathing room here because it's like the last more 10-15 minutes of the movie as opposed to
and then these are her parents, I guess, that they find here, right? Or
yeah
grandparents?
yeah
Yeah,
and
gotta
there's
be her
not a
parents,
whole
right?
lot added here but just little bits and pieces more so but yeah.
Yeah, let's show. Oops.
Speaking of bits and pieces,
Yeah. I guess these are her parents. Then she says she's home. I guess. Yeah.
This is where they
And somebody
find out
said
that
this is supposed to
she
be,
murdered them.
She murdered them. She's Megan, really. Yeah. And
And she
and there's
and,
a obviously, yeah. There's the
Sorry,
tattoo.
Dustin. Sorry, man.
There's the tattoo and that tattoo gear. Yep. So that's they knew they were dying. Yeah. And then they sent her off in a basket, a la Moses, I guess. Right. Just
and when they
And
sent her
she
in the
floated that
basket,
long?
they said north is south and south is north. Just remember that. It's wherever it is, go the opposite of that, because that's when they realize of the direction.
that's the
that
big
they gotta go.
mystery of the movie is
Mm.
like what was the situation, yeah, like to like how many children did they have prior to this, how many other kids are out there that didn't make it that had the tattoo on it, I don't,
yeah.
you know.
And is that Japanese writing or that doesn't? It's obviously not.
Why were there thousands of partially eaten skeletal human remains around?
I was just gonna say, what killed them? You might want to wonder why they died. Why did they send their kids
Yeah.
away instead of keeping them there? It makes no sense. So
Why
there's
was
100 other
to bring them back?
That's right.
Was
So how
Daniel
did you
was
survive on the
her
boat?
dad?
Dustin,
Well,
what'd you say? I'm
Dustin-
sorry.
I say her dad was Daniel Day-Lewis. You're just a bastard in a basket, as you put it.
Again,
Now-
like this has a lot more questions than answers, unfortunately.
yeah. And someone said this is supposed to be Everest.
It is,
Yeah,
yes.
you'll see in
Yeah.
a second. Yeah,
That's why there's hundreds of skeletal remains of climbers who died on Everest lying around.
Oh yeah.
There's Edmund
Oh.
Hillary. No, sorry.
Oh, this movie. Oh, this movie.
And I'm not even sure she could have been gone or they could be dead long enough for that cobweb shit
I
to.
think her parents should
Yeah.
have still been alive, and Sean Connery should have been one of them.
Here's my
Zardoz.
guess.
Connery is Zardoz.
Dressed as Zardoz.
If I had to take a guess, this is
Zardoz
my
in the
guess,
future.
is that they all had kids that grew up, right? And eventually had children of their own, and then they all had the tattoos put on their back so they could send them out and find other people to bring back.
Meat.
And
eat
they
them.
had the map just to, and to eat them. Exactly. Fricassee, to mate and meat and eat them,
I hear
eat the
horse
male.
is pretty delicious. Not allowed to eat it here, but I hear it's really good.
Because
Depends how you cook it,
I think they
Dustin.
just died of old age eventually, and that's just like the old folks that got left behind. But
Yeah, but if they wouldn't be that old if they just had her, right? I mean, if that's
no.
their parents.
That's what I'm saying is like they already had
Yeah.
their own sets of kids, and all the sets of kids took off and had kids, but they realized we're inbreeding here in this motherfucker.
Oh, okay.
So they went out to find new mates for their children, and they all had the tattoos just in case they got lost. And she's the only one left. Is my point? Exactly.
How to phone home.
Exactly, because otherwise, my first thing is if I come across that, I'd be like, "What the fuck killed them, and what do we need to worry about here?" So, I mean, there's already enough shit that's going to probably kill them, but I mean, just from pure instinct, I'd be like, because like you guys are saying, you guys sit there and do the math in your head, and that's what I could conclude, like without giving any kind of explanation, and that's the best way I could come up with without it being some disease that killed them or something that they should worry about.
Well, yeah, because these people haven't been around other people in half a millennia or 1,000 years, 500 years. And now they're going to come to this place where there's like horses and other animals and maybe other people who are carrying diseases that they aren't immune to.
Yeah, that's the other thing that opens so many more questions.
Get sick, yeah. And we have relatives from Europe that came here, and there's like, how come you guys don't eat horse here? I'm like, because we have cattle. We don't need to eat our horses, but they're they do eat a lot of horse. I was like, oh god,
they just like the taste.
I hear it's really good.
Yeah.
It's actually illegal to sell commercially here. You could probably get away with eating it if you had some, but you can't sell it commercially.
Yep.
Okay.
It's like super taboo. People are like, why would I don't know? Shit's delicious.
Horses are eaten all around the world. Yes.
Yeah. So this is what makes it the Ulysses cut right here. This whole scene.
Yeah. There's a couple of lines.
Yes. The infamous.
Matt hates this part with the kissing and stuff. Yeah.
This is where he'd be like, ruin the movie. It's all done, especially earlier when they fucked on the boat.
Yeah. After he gave her the diddly, now he ups and leaves her.
He's just realized there's a lot more women out there now. He's had one, and he's going to go out and look for more. All this time, I didn't get it.
I want to try some other kind of pussy.
I'm not getting stuck with the old ball and chain here.
I'm gonna get some old. I'm gonna go out and look for some strange. You know what I mean?
Oh, damn.
I'm gonna spread the seed a little bit, and I'll be back, honey. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's really Johnny.
Oh my god. Johnny? What?
Johnny Appleseed.
Oh,
no, and of course he's probably getting away to avoid some child support problems here,
Yeah.
I don't see no judges.
Did Mariner ever come back there, do you think, guys?
Yeah, probably.
I think
he did.
Yeah, I think so.
He came back for some Genie, right? He
was.
He was dreaming of Genie the whole time, I think, when he's out of the water.
He would get lonely. Now he's tasted the fruits of social.
Well,
life.
he probably still smelled bad. Well, she smelled normal.
Everyone smells bad, so you don't notice it, probably, right?
Yeah. Well, they probably don't notice it, but I'm just saying.
Well, not only that, everybody's living off a diet of like fucking fish and what few vegetables they can find. Yeah,
and they're drinking their own urine.
Yeah,
they're drinking each other's urine. It's much more sociable that way.
So here's the big reveal here. Oh,
this is
Oh, okay. I guess I didn't. I guys have totally missed that.
Yeah, Mount Everest.
But it's only in the Ulysses cut.
Yeah, holy shit.
When I hit play on that cut, when you sent it out, I hit play. I was like, I'll probably watch about 15 minutes of this. And then I'm like, I look back at like 10 minutes left, and I'm like, what the shit?
Even the longer cut does go by a bit quicker, but like, yeah, I mean, it's Where's that part of it anyway? I mean, as bad as some of it is, if you stop to slow down to ask too many questions, it don't work. But like, yeah.
Right.
That's true. Good point, Red Shirt.
Because she
Wow.
says in this, I don't know if this is the real story of Ulysses offhand, but she says because Ulysses is a story of a man that left and then came home or whatever and never left.
Was
again.
cursed to stay on the seas. Yep.
Yeah.
So I did dig up my photos from when I went to the Waterworld.
Oh,
nice.
Very
have that
nice.
here.
Yeah. Cool.
So that's I mean, this is my old cell phone from like 2007.
Still
so.
looks great.
But yeah, the set is it's pretty wild here.
It's cool.
I wonder if they repurposed parts from the movie. I'd imagine, huh?
Probably. Didn't somebody get badly hurt? Did we mention that before? Somebody got badly hurt there the other day.
I don't know about badly hurt, but I know somebody got hurt.
Somebody got hurt. Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, here's
it happened.
But it's a really cool, so you're sitting here on the side, and then we were obviously sitting here, but then these doors that open and remembering it. I thought I had a video, but I couldn't find it. And then all the water, it's all the jet skis these guys are going, and they're jumping, and there's ramps here, and it's they're swinging, a guy swings back and forth, and there's all chasing up this tower. Let's see, I don't know if I had much of the live performers, but if you're in Universal, it's definitely worth it.
And are you encouraged in the audience to drink your own urine just to enhance the experience?
Only if you run it through a lot of filters, right? Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so here comes it. There's one big ship, the smokers boat comes through, and a lot of pyrotechnics, the crappy photos, but gives you an idea of what it
That's
is.
pretty cool.
But really extensive set. Yeah.
It looks like you are definitely guaranteed to go there and get wet, and you are not allowed to leave dry. You're not allowed to.
Well, there's a section they mark that says you're going to get wet if you sit here, I think. Yeah.
So
it seems like that seems like that's the rule. You come here and you get wet. You don't get dry here.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that I saw in the wiki stuff or the IMDb stuff that like Kevin Costner had to be wet the whole time. So like even though he knew it was coming, like they would just continually throw buckets of water on him all the time. And like even though like they were friends, he was like he just got to the point was like he just couldn't take it anymore. He's like he just had to be wet the whole time, but they were just like throwing buckets of water on him all the time, like every day, multiple times a day.
Yeah,
100% TZ. 100%.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, that's good. Seriously, that's damn good.
The Deacon's in the show.
But this is in Hollywood, yeah?
This is in Universal Studios in Florida. Or
in
no,
Florida?
California? Or is it California?
Where am I? California
has it. I don't know about Florida.
California. This is California.
I don't think there is one in Florida because I don't remember it when I was there. Otherwise, I would have loved
California. Yeah. I go to both of them a bunch of times. You forget where.
Yeah.
Where were these pictures from? Yeah.
I didn't think it was in Florida.
Yeah. So there's Kevin Costner there.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah, and Deacon. Yeah, I couldn't find a video, but
no, it's okay, man.
Yeah. I must have a video somewhere, but yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
No, the clip I was watching earlier was when Joe Rogan was talking about it. This was like 5 or 6 years ago. He was talking about how he's like the movie's like one of the biggest atrocities ever, but somehow the amusement park attraction is absolutely amazing. I was like, I never done the amusement thing, but I strongly disagree on the movie because the movie is fucking awesome. The
movie was better. The movie was better than I was anticipating because I remember seeing it years ago, and like the whole thing, like I've got paper, and like who fucking cares, Like,
yeah, there's something better to trade for your women, At least in the Blues Brothers is like when he goes to the restaurant, it's your women. How much for your women?
How much?
How much? Yeah, I got paper for you. Like that's gonna be like no,
y'all can't even read.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of reading, I'm going to read out these scores. Red Shirt here, Toxicity 8, Greatness 4. Hopefully, Red Shirt, you'll be able to come join us next week, all in peace. Billy Go Boom, Toxicity 9, Greatness 6. Boosh, 7 out of 10. I like it. Dennis Hopper, man. I don't feel like it's all toxic, just a few scenes. So 4 itchy freaks out of 10. Casparius, 7 out of 10. Smoked monsters of toxicity. Cosmic Vader, greatness 7. Toxicity 9. Too much Loki. I don't know. Something bigotry, smoking and fossil fuels. Joe's atmosphere. Toxicity. Let's see. Bigotry, sexism, human trafficking. 10. Greatness overall. A misunderstood classic. 11.
Everyone likes this movie.
Yeah, Joe, my man. Cosmic Vader, greatness. Oh no, we already got that. I guess maybe sent that twice. Rob Altus, toxicity 6 overall, so not great, but not as bad as many say. All right. I appreciate the honesty here. 6 greatness, 5 tox, 1 shitty eye from Ecoy. That was good.
Cosmic and it feels cold and shitty.
Overall, 3.6. Not good, not terrible. Fat Elvis, toxicity 6, greatness 8. Dennis Hopper, a 10.
Ooh. That was a Chernobyl reference, I think. There
was it? Okay.
Yeah, not great, not terrible, because their meter would only go up to the cheap meter they had only went up to 3 Rontgen or whatever. So they thought, well, that's not great, it's not terrible. They didn't realize it was the cheap one that they had. The real one, it would go up to 2,000. So that was, I think that was a Chernobyl reference. I'm sorry to divert us.
No. You're good, man. You're good. Honest. Keely Chow, toxicity overall 10-10. And 8 out of 10 Dennis Hoppers from Cosmic. Pinochet's Helicopter Tours, 3 out of 10 stars. Too much water. Elagabalus, 7-10, 5-10. But I'm old. Brian Barth, 8. Inverse Opinion, 4 toxicity, 7 greatness. Ooh, look at that high in greatness. I didn't see the movie, but I give Matt a 10 on the nude scene. TZ. And then 8 out of 10 Dennis Hopper. Goat, 10 out of 10. Love the action sequence. Oh, yeah. Brian Barth with a very highly optimistic take on it. Well, Dustin, why don't you tell us your final thoughts on Waterworld?
Well, you can't drink salt water, so that's pretty toxic. I mean, I guess it's more toxic than I thought, than I was paying attention for, like the human trafficking and I mean, I give it a good score for Kim Coates, but I'm gonna go ahead and say 9 for toxicity, 7 for greatness. Because if you would have asked me, like when we were talking about this in the group chat before, I was like, why the fuck are we gonna watch this movie? Then watching it again, like I think the 3-hour cut is what really made it for me. I think if we would have stuck to the 2-hour cut, I probably would have given it a 4.
Oh, well, look at that. Okay.
You broke me.
Well, don't worry. We're going to be on much more optimistic grounds next week, and that's a problem.
I'm not worthy.
Yes. Oh, I know. That line's a premonition. Mark.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one like a B-, I guess. So like like an 8 out of 10, I guess. It's a fun movie. There's a ton of people that love Waterworld out there too. It became a cult movie. Like I had some buddies that would just like watch Waterworld like a couple times a year. Like it was their thing. I don't know. It was like but I yeah, very weird. Yeah, but I guess I'm weird too in a lot of ways. But yeah, there's the production is great. That trimaran is awesome. The practical sets are amazing. The stunts are really good. It's a pretty straightforward. Guy gets eventually gets the girl, but he at least he's a pretty toxic SOB in this movie.
Yeah, he is.
The more you watch it, so the villain's always typically toxic too, right? But he throws to
be honest, that's why I suggested us, if we're going to do it, we should do the Ulysses cut, because I knew he was much more toxic in that version. Sorry, Mark, I didn't mean to just
no, thank you. Yeah, no, that's because I've only seen the original cut, so thank you. I didn't even know about the Ulysses cut, so I appreciate you letting us know about that. And yeah, he's really not a kind of hero. You couldn't have that kind of hero today, right? With that whole arc. Yeah, so I'm gonna give it like a 7, because he's a toxic SOB. He gets redeemed, and of course, Deacon is great. Dennis Hopper's awesome, and it's I think it holds. I know Dustin doesn't like it, but it's I kind of get that post-apocalyptic thing, and I guess you're right about all the things you shouldn't ask about, but it's more of a popcorn kind of fun movie, and for that, I think it's good. But I can
Comes
see why
from a
people
more
don't like
innocent
it.
time.
Yeah, but I hear the people that don't like it too. But it's
Absolutely.
it's worth watching at least once, right? Or watch the shorter one if you do like it, maybe watch the longer cut. But yeah, and there wasn't enough nudity. There wasn't enough chances
Right?
for that in this movie,
I
right?
figured
So,
the movie's gonna be 3
like
hours. There should be at least a titty in it.
we didn't get that. We almost got it. You almost got that, but not quite. So,
2 hours, 59
yeah.
minutes, titty.
Oh damn! Oh, will that be all, Mark?
That's all. I found some. I got a restream. I found a good GIF or GIF. I got to put up. Yeah. All right.
Nice.
There's a few on Waterworld. Yep.
All right. No,
But,
we'll
yeah,
have to see it. 70s.
I know there's a lot of people for years have hated this movie, and you only have to search the internet and you see 100 articles about how terrible that movie was, and wasn't it awful? What a disaster. I disagree a lot. I actually think I enjoyed Waterworld at the time, saw it in the cinema, was quite excited about it because science fiction fan, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and I've watched it many times since, and I really, really do appreciate it a lot. I don't think it's that toxic, to be fair. Maybe it's only a PG-13 kind of level toxicity. I think there's, I'd probably only say it was about 6 out of 10 for toxicity, apart from maybe some of the moments where he was squeezing his lemons, but or was it his limes? I can't remember.
It was his limes.
But I mean, somebody, I think it was Dustin, mentioned Kim Coates. So I mean, that alone is Kim Coates and Dennis Hopper alone make this movie spectacularly good. I'm gonna give it 8.5 out of 10 because I really do love this movie. I don't care what anybody says. Well, I do care a little.
Wow. Yes, actually, Tom, we made a Cable Guy reference to it earlier in the show. That was how I first heard about Waterworld, because of where he is fighting Matthew Broderick on top of the satellite dish. He's like, "Dad, is that a myth? I've seen it." Kevin Costner, Waterworld.
I need to go back and watch that movie. I can't remember. I know I watched it back on like VHS or DVD, like way back when, but I
Cable
don't
Guy
remember it.
It's one of those movies that has aged a bit better. Yes,
but I gave you free cable.
It was a bit ahead of the time. Yeah,
I gave you free cable.
It has. I remember I used to laugh my ass off at
maybe a
where
future
he
Toxic
shows up in
Tuesday
his dream.
possibility.
He's like, "Anyway, out, no big deal."
I love it when he goes to the party. He takes Matthew Broderick to the party, and it's all people he's given free cable. Those are all your friends. Well, that's a great movie.
It is. I love Cable Guy. Anyways, Tom, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I buried the lead by saying with everything here. So yeah, I enjoyed the film. As overall, I give it about an 8 or so. I mean, honestly, give or take the Ulysses cut, to be honest with you, I don't mind the theatrical cut nearly as much as most people do, but I do enjoy what the Ulysses cut adds to the package overall. But at the end of the day, I disagree on this movie not being so toxic for those who are saying it, because that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do the Ulysses cut, because he is more toxic in his actions in this version. And on top of that, take all the science stuff out of it. Would it really happen and all that bullshit? One of the reasons I'm kind of glad we picked this movie is that this movie is a good example of what the world will become, no matter where we're at right now with all this woke bullshit business, feminist this, LGBTQ that. If the shit were to hit the fucking fan and the world, something like this were to happen, look how quickly we regress back to the ways that we were not even 200, 300, 400 years ago. It would not take that fucking long. That's one of the aspects of the film that I don't think is very science fiction-y. I do agree that if a post-apocalyptic thing were to happen to this world, we would be quickly driven back to the days of when, you know, women were basically trafficked and other things like that. I mean, it wouldn't take us long to revert to that, and where women would just give themselves over for protection and shelter and whatnot. Like let's be real. We would get back
one
to
of the
that
plot points why The Last Man, where all the construction stops, everything's falling apart because all the men are gone.
Yep.
I mean, it would not take us. No, you're 100% correct. That's my point. And so the toxicity level of this, I will put it in that too. That I think that this is a very toxic film in that respect, and it comes from it's one of the last in a line of films where we could actually be that way. Because this came out in the midst of the PC era, even. And it still managed to get away with some of this
starting
shit.
then,
yeah. So
I was off just out of college then. Yeah, it was definitely.
I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah, as far as a rating, I'll give the movie itself like an 8. Like I said, as far as the toxicity, I'll give it an equal 8.
Oh,
probably in that region. Yeah.
Hot damn. Cool. Tom Connor's with the 8s. All right. Oh. It's paper.
And it even gets extra. Well, it gets one extra woke point right now because let's be real, the smokers are everything that the left hates. Let's be real.
They are a little over the top cartoony though.
They are, but
they're
almost like, okay, I'll take that back and I'll give you that, Dustin. They're more or less basically what they think the right is. This was the gift. This was the gift I posted. I'm like, I got it. Waterworld.
Yes. Damn. Michael Gonzalez, 6, toxicity, 4, great science. Mecha J, 7, toxicity and overall. Cavatino Cavalry, 8.5 coconuts of greatness and 6.9 glasses of pineapple juice of toxicity. 2 honey dew melons and dew camels for Janine Triple. Oh, you guys are great. And we got one last comment here. Worth high. Billy Go Boomass. Have you guys done Showdown in Little Tokyo?
No, I don't think so. Have you?
Not only have we not, but it's gonna come. Oh,
is it? Have you guys even done Big Trouble in Little China yet?
We've done that.
Yeah,
we did that.
Okay,
yeah.
I thought so.
We did that. But Showdown in Little Tokyo is not only gonna come, it's gonna come a lot sooner than you think.
That's what she said.
So all I can encourage you to do is to come a lot in the next few weeks, and
again and again and again.
I promise.
Oh, yeah.
And when you come, we will come.
Speaking of that, when are we going to do happiness?
When are we doing what? I'm sorry.
Happiness.
Oh no, not that.
You do all
the penises you want. I'm not doing a penis.
not the happiness, but like happiness. That I think it's got. There's a dude in like an apartment building, and he's got like bodies.
No, the bit with the dog, the scene with the dog at the end. Oh no, we're not.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to knock it down, Nick. I was just
we're not doing that movie. It's terrible.
Yeah, we gotta do that one. We gotta do that one too, Orgasmo. We do. See, there's so much we still have yet to.
Now you're a man.
Now you're a man.
Yeah.
So I really don't want to do any Todd Solondz movies because they're all grim as fuck.
How about Sleeper? Woody Allen Sleeper.
That would be okay.
Guys,
be toxic today, right?
We got a lot. We gotta talk. I still want to do the Death Wish movies too. We still haven't even done those.
I just watched Death Wish the other night.
Oh.
Did anyone watch Hot Dog? I posted the link to that. Did anyone watch Hot Dog?
Oh no, I didn't even see that. I should have grabbed it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Go check out Hot Dog. That's my favorite.
We saw you even done Full Metal Jacket or Major Pain or 48 Hours.
Yeah, Dustin. If you wanted a movie with a lot of boobs, Hot Dog would be the movie for you.
I like boobies.
Who doesn't?
So watch it and let me know what you think.
Boobies are perfect.
Boobies.
Oh, dude, Orgasmo's so good.
Oh, I know. I love Orgasmo.
Oh, Uncommon Valor. That's a action comedy. That's one of my favorite all-time movies. That's a great movie. A great message too. A really hard-hitting movie in the end. But yeah, Gene Hackman's in it, isn't he? In Uncommon Valor.
Gene Hackman. Yes.
Yeah.
All right,
Just had his
guys.
birthday. Yep.
That was
95
Waterworld
years old.
for what it was worth. Thank you, Tom. I'm glad we
apologize.
did this.
I
No,
do for those who had to suffer through it.
You are
and didn't
glad
enjoy it,
I'm so glad we talked about this.
I was a little surprised that you actually chose it. So
next week is episode 75. Chat. We
Joe's
need you all-
atmosphere brings up a good one. Have you guys done
Buford? Walking Tall.
No. Well, that would be
Live and Let Die.
That was Buford Puss, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one too. But I'm talking about Buford T. Justice. Texas County Mounty.
No, we have not.
In the movie, it would be Smokey and the Bandit, my friend.
Smokey and the Bandit would be
we have not done Smokey and the Bandit.
Talk about a toxic movie.
Great movie.
I'm a bitch.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
All for cores, and the whole point of the movie is to get cores, right? What could be more toxic than that? Back in the old days, you can get cores on the East Coast.
I'm in hot pursuit.
We're gonna do Smokey and the Bandit soon. We're gonna come with that movie.
I'm gonna get that some bitch.
Some bitch.
And as Andre
Don't
says,
you swear on this radio here.
That. Next week is episode 75 with Wayne's World. We're gonna party very hard next week. It's gonna be exciting. Victor says
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World. Party time. Excellent.
Absolutely gonna be amazing, guys. We want you all to come, and we're gonna party next week. All right, it's gonna be huge. Absolutely,
Party on, Wayne.
Huge. So, with that said, we'll see you then for episode 75. And please, one last time, I want you all to come. So please do that. I'm gonna let these guys plug in their plugs, or are they plugging out? You decide.
Yeah, well, as of now I'm three subscribers away from 900, so I'm begging anybody. See if I was trying to get over
for that Beatles pin. I'll use some of my extra.
I was trying to get over 900 while we were on the stream. That's my pins. See, there's some nice pins in there.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I Tom and I did this fantastic stream yesterday on my show. It's Only Talking Roll. We did our second of our Canon films specials, and we did the ninja movies. So please go back and check that out. We had Tom, we had Razor Fist, we had Austin Trunick, who does the Canon film guys. We had the most epic stream, and we're going to do more of those Canon ones in the future. So other than that, I'll be probably releasing a few new videos I'm working on this week, and then Saturday night, don't forget Bourbon and Boarding, where Brahma Bull and I sit and drink and talk about hockey. So check that one out.
70s.
Thanks again, Nick.
Thank you. And guys, please, I want you guys to splurge and sub to That 70s Rock Fan. Let's get into 900 tonight, please.
Oh, 898. Too much. I don't normally beg for subs, but it's 900. Let's do it.
You're not really a beggar.
Let's do it.
If you guys, if you give him a 900, he will come. I promise.
Again and again.
70s, it's been great.
Oh, thanks.
You're gonna hit 1K soon, man. It's
working
been awesome.
on it. It's probably gonna wear. You wouldn't believe I'm only 25 years old. This is what this YouTube shit does to you when you're working on editing videos. It's
a lot. I'll see you soon, my friend. As always, thank you for all the greatness that you have done. Dustin.
Keto Simple is my channel. I'm about somewhere between 3,500 and 1,000 views away from hitting 250,000 views.
Wow. Good stuff.
So, after you subscribe to everybody on this panel, just go and set my channel to autoplay as you go to sleep.
Do it now.
Do it.
Pick up some recipes. We talk about food, stuff you should eat, stuff you shouldn't eat. Me, my wife, we have a good time. We crack jokes. We talk about diarrhea, whatever.
It was a good thing you added more to that. Never mind.
So like the newest video that
we talk
have
about things we eat. Me, my wife.
Oh yeah, dude.
We have a good time. I mean,
we
Not
do.
dining at the Y again.
The pause was just so perfect. It was just
so like the newest video on my channel, like while we were filming it, I had to shit so bad.
Oh God.
So I'm like, we're trying to get through. It's like 11. Like I edited it down. It's like 11-minute video, edited down. But like it was kind of like where we are. But we had filmed like 10 videos beforehand of us tasting shit.
Dude, need some paper.
like literal shit or just food.
Oh, snacks and
I
shit.
can't
right?
tell what's the difference anymore.
We were trying like protein shakes and various other stuff. So we get to this video and we're talking like, because we hadn't released a video in a while, so we kind of life updates and all that stuff. And I'm sitting there, I'm just like moving in my chair, and I'm like, I don't know if you can notice it when you watch, but
I'm gonna go check now.
you can go watch. Yeah, but yeah. The stuff. I would probably never say that on my channel, but like, because I'm a wholesome family channel.
Oh,
I come on here and act an asshole.
Dustin, it's been fucking glorious.
I love you guys. I'm glad. I love being on here. It's so much fun.
I love having you on here, man. Every week. It's a gift that always keeps on shitting. Have a great week.
You too.
So, how do I follow that one up?
I don't think you can, man. I'm about ready to just leave.
I don't have to leave for any reason right now. I'm okay.
I'm crying.
Yeah. I can stay here for a few more minutes.
I can't top that.
We had Nick scarfing earlier. It was so funny. Yeah, this was a fun movie to do. Yeah, even though some people don't like it, but I always love being here, hanging out with you guys. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
It was a brownout.
It's a new meaning to the term brownout. Yeah.
So Mr. Hankey's going to show up on the next Toxic Tuesday, I guess, right? But anyway, thanks to everyone who subbed. It was great to hit 500. I got a few more tonight, which is awesome. So always appreciate it. I just dropped a new video on Star Trek phasers tonight, if you like Star Trek. So I was just reviewing this, and I'm always reviewing toys, and this is the only good thing about the Black Widow movie I thought was Red Guardian. So I just picked up.
Those are knee pads. I thought her knees were dirty for a minute. I was just like, oh, how'd that happen?
She's got knee pads. Yeah.
It's like, I want to get to know that Black Widow already.
She's got to reinforce them. Yeah.
So so I'm always reviewing toys, and I'm on Thursday night with Clobbering Times and Raquel Briggs, the Clubhouse, and Saturday night I'm in the chat on Saturday Night Star Trek, and I pop in on the end of that show, and then Sunday night is Sunday Night Geekery, so come hang out there. We talk all kinds of geek things, movies. We talk food. We usually end up talking poop, but we usually talk about food during the week.
When you gotta go, man.
Soylent Brown, I think.
Yeah.
It's poopy. It's poopy.
What was Howdy Doody? Howdy Doody. Yeah. All right. So
it was time.
Sorry, Mark. We're just destroying you.
This is awesome. This is awesome. Yeah. My only regret in life is I haven't checked out this show sooner, so much appreciated. Yeah, we work hard to make you guys all laugh each week. So
are you kidding me? Toxic Tuesday. We're on episode 75. Did you not hear this?
Yeah.
That's why next week you better come to Wayne's World next week.
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World.
You have your hors d'oeuvres.
Yep. So so I'm looking forward to that Wayne's World episode. I got to get my pacer revved up and out of the garage. And
It'll be sponsored by Jergens.
yeah, so the show went to crash so quickly. Yeah.
I know.
Thank you for subbing.
I can't speak for anyone
Helicopter.
else, but I am not one to bow to any sponsor.
Mark.
Oh, let Mark finish. I was just doing the Wayne's World.
No. That was actually an accident.
No, that's okay. But yeah, thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the visuals as usual tonight, guys. And
thank you so much. That was a long ass movie to cut, dude.
Yeah, I did try to, like, sometimes I take way too many, screenshots. So this one I was kind of like, don't clip it. Of course, he never talks in this movie too. So a lot of times I want to.
So I said he's got like 10 lines, and I wasn't kidding.
Yeah. So it made it actually easier because it's like, how many pictures of a ship on the ocean do you need to clip? But yeah, so I try to keep it down for a 3-hour movie. So yeah, but thanks everyone. Yeah, and catch you on the next one. Yeah, we had a great crowd tonight. We had some
it was fun.
Rockin' chat. Yeah, it was a lot of fun and a lot of shit talking, but it was good. As Clay is saying. Oh God, I hope
Leave
no
it
one
to
clips
Sherry.
this.
At least they're solid. That's the main thing.
Yep, I'm burning in hell now. Yep.
I want to party with Sherry one of these days, because Sherry is the type of chick that makes every guy in the room turn red eventually. Like, as lewd as you think you can get, she's the one that pulls out the one that makes every other guy in the room just go, "Oh shit!"
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Oh, so you came twice?
Oh God,
That's a lot for our age.
Thank you.
In one go?
Yeah.
Oh, did you get that too, Mark, or is that the original?
This is the old Playmates, and I also have, of course, the new Playmates.
I got the newer one that looks just like it. Yeah.
Here's the new one.
Looks like one of them lefty inoculation devices.
Yeah, so
they're damn near identical.
basically they're identical, except the new one has too many screw holes.
You got a stand with yours? I didn't get a fucking stand.
I 3D printed it.
Cool.
Yeah, 3D printed.
Awesome.
So that way
I was about to freak the fuck out on fucking Playmates. Like,
you got
where
ripped
the fuck's
off
my
now.
stand, motherfuckers?
I'll send you a stand. Give me your
Oh, you
address.
don't have to do that, brother. That's fine. But yeah, no, that's cool.
a quick print. That's a quick
because
print.
it doesn't sit up for shit. Like, you try to set it, it's so top heavy. Yeah.
It just falls over. Yeah. So
I was gonna write nasty, but dear Playmates, you motherfuckers.
That wouldn't be the first time you
Where
wrote
is
a
my
Playmate.
Yeah, that's right. This never happens to me. I couldn't believe it.
you hate buying something, right? And it's you're like, oh, I got ripped off. It wasn't in the box, right? Yeah.
Right.
There's
fuck
the
that
original.
shit.
That's the Diamond Select.
You know what I was
that's
waiting
the
for you
good
to say is that it came with the original, but when they brought it out again, was you were going to say they didn't have the stand, is what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah.
I was going to be like, son of a bitch, of course.
They always fuck you in the drive-through, right?
They
Yeah.
fuck you in the drive-through.
And this is the one where you can separate it. That's a good one, the Diamond Select one. So, yeah, that's the one
that
to
sucks.
have,
You're not able to do that on the new one.
Yeah. So watch the video, everyone. I'll put it in the chat.
Please,
if you want to learn more about phasers. Yeah,
Mark,
he's going through a phaser.
74 weeks of phasing.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm so glad you're at 500.
It's a phaser
70's
phase.
hit 900.
Just hit 900.
You dudes,
Thank you, everybody.
You guys,
Hey.
we are just splurging left and right here. I love it. And maybe
Splurging all over the place.
splurge many more splurges to come. Tom Connors, say your final words, whatever that may be.
Again, I can't thank these guys enough for being good sports about it. And it's sad Red Shirt didn't make it back in here.
Right.
So I wanted to hear some more about what he felt about it. And it sucked he was having that issue. So if you're listening, Red Shirt, would still love to hear your thoughts on the film. But no, I'm glad you guys took it like troopers. And I didn't expect us to do this film. It was kind of a surprise. But hey, sometimes you got to do something out of left field. And I think it worked out fine. We had some fun with it. It looks like the audience was having some fun with it. Even those who had not seen the film were enjoying us talking about it. So that's a plus. And I want to thank anybody who came here from Mead, of course. Thank you so much for coming over. Outside of that, yeah, just check me out on Mead, Midnight's Edge in the morning, where tomorrow morning I'll be flying solo without Andre. I will have Mikey with me, but
if you need a hand, Tom, I can come in and help.
Oh,
well,
he's
I
got
might
a
need
hand,
a hand
all
job.
right.
But,
Well, you'll have to go elsewhere then.
You're not going to turn someone down after weeks at sea, are you?
Randy
That's
Handy
right.
Randy Handy may be available. Handy.
See,
Randy.
that's the thing. You guys were making a big deal about, well, what if he's gay? It doesn't matter at that point, I don't think. If anybody's going to do you at that point, I think is the whole point. It ain't gay if you close your eyes, I've heard.
It ain't gay if you're out at sea.
Yeah, if you're out at sea, it don't count. That's right. No, of course. I love you guys. It's always fun to get to hang out, and I can't wait to talk Wayne's World next week.
Agreed. Thank you, Tom, as always. And once again, thank you for bringing people here straight after me. Greatly appreciated. Been very, very instrumental to the success of this show, like all the other guys on here. And yeah, next week, we're going to party our asses off for Wayne's World next week. I can already tell next week's going to be a rocking good time. Thank you, as always, my friend. Woo! Woo! Guys, seriously, this was, despite the divisive nature of this movie, we all had fun, like Tom said, between the chat, whether you've seen it or not. And I saw a bunch of new faces in the chat. Thank you guys. Hopefully you liked what you saw. And I hope that you come back next week for episode 75 for Wayne's World, because that's going to be absolutely insane. I saw a few of the new faces too, super chatting. Thank you, by the way, for the super chats, direct donations, Sherry for the memes, and all of you guys for the humor in the chat. Absolutely fucking hilarious. And of course, to all the regulars who come in here every week. This is crazy that this little idea that was supposed to be just a temporary thing for a few months has now turned into this whole thing. So thank you guys. All right. I do appreciate it. We're going to have fun next week when we talk Wayne's World. You can find me at Midnight's Edge After Dark, Yelling at Park Cars with Comics Division. Of course, Comic Shop Talk with Clobber in times where we'll be talking Infinity Gauntlet issue number 5. So until then, guys. Oh,
hold it.
What?
Oh, somebody wants to know what I think of Waterworld. In fact, Waterworld's a very important film for me. It was because of Waterworld that I designed the water bat suit. And in it, I was like watching the movie, and you know how he's got those web feet? I'm like, wouldn't that be awesome if we had something like that we could use? So I spent millions of dollars of, well, Bruce Wayne's money, designing new web-footed boots. What? What are flippers? I don't know what the fuck Alfred's talking about, but anyway, I designed them, and they are amazing, and they look just like webbed feet, and they look really cool in the water. So with that, I will say Waterworld inspired Bat Tom. Thank you so much. Who cares if it costs that much, Alfred? It's not your fucking money.
Oh, all right, guys. Good night.